Yo, all right, man, we in here. Let's get a little things sorted out as people start to filter in. I'll make a red first one in the building. What's good, man? I appreciate all of uh, your messages, man. I really do appreciate you guys. But look, man, we got to get it back to boxing. The sun will rise regardless of what we're going through, so that's how we have to. You know what I mean? Like that's how we have to move on. That's how we have to accept it. All right. So I was listening into Drew Titan here before I came on live. He had a guest on, had a nice little talk going. But every time I get a moment to come on here, man, I just gotta seize the moment. Been going through a lot, been really busy as well. So I find a couple hours, so I try to sneak up on here and talk a little bit of boxing with you guys. If you guys come in, man, hit that like button. You guys know the drill. Let everybody know that we're in here. I've been having a real issue with YouTube, man, not putting out my notifications. And I've already had a few other subscribers go ahead and make their complaints. So yeah, make sure that we hit that like button. That lets everybody know that we're in here live and we're doing our thing. So we're gonna get into this conversation, man. You guys see the title of the live stream. Most of you guys know by now that most of you guys know by now that Tyson Fury will fight Dillian Whyte. Last time I came on live, we were talking about the possibility of Joshua stepping to the side so Fury can fight Usyk. Well, it doesn't look like that's going to happen now. A lot of people were saying in here at that time, like, they didn't believe that was going to happen. But it was definitely on the table. It was definitely on the table. That I can guarantee you. There were definitely some negotiations happening behind the scenes. Absolutely. I don't know the ins and outs on why it fell apart. But it could have been Dillian Whyte's side. I would imagine that's probably what it was. They weren't willing to give up their mandatory shot at the title because it kind of screwed Dillian Whyte over if you really think about it. If everybody moves to the side, Dillian Whyte gets a payday, but then it's just another possible year before he gets another title shot. So I think it's a fight that needs to go ahead and just get it over with. There are a few people out there that are excited. That are excited to get this fight. There are a few people out there that think that Dillian Whyte is somebody who's been overlooked. Dillian Whyte's been somebody that has talent. Dillian Whyte's a guy that can like knock some of these dudes out, aka Tyson Fury, aka Anthony Joshua, aka Usyk, aka Deontay Wilder. There are people out there that think that Dillian Whyte is this overlooked fighter. Now, I personally don't think that he's overlooked. I personally think he's rated right where he's supposed to be rated. If anybody disagrees with me, then they feel free to state your claim. Chavo TV was good. Yeah, man, it took me a minute, bro. It took me a minute to get back up on here. I ain't gonna lie to you. But this is what my dad would want. You know what I mean? He would want me to keep pushing, keep going forward, keep talking about the sport of boxing. At the end of the day, my dad is the one who introduced me to boxing. 5, 6 years old, sit down, watch Rumble in the Jungle, you know, watch Thriller in Manila, you know, and I got to give him credit for that. And that he was proud of me for doing what I do on here. So I'm going to just keep it moving. You know what I mean? Um, on that note, I will be going stateside in March. Pretty much official. Getting all my tickets, getting all my finances sorted out, and I'll be there in March. I'm going to be in the Missouri area when my dad passed, just outside of St. Louis. So I'm going to be around there, and then I'm going to have a lot of free time once the memorial service is done to kind of float around. So if anybody's free around March, and want to kick it, let me know, man. DM me on my IG page. And just let me know, man. And maybe I can swing by. So, not to go off topic, man, we'll stick on topic here. I was kind of waiting for a little while to see what was going to happen with the whole heavyweight division. It's frustrating sometimes. As of I know right now, there's no set date for Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte. All I know is that it's pretty much done. I think that's the last step, is finding the date and location. And as far as I know, there is no official date for Joshua Usyk 2 either, which makes sense because nobody can make up their damn mind on what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are saying that, oh, we might get to see the unification match between Usyk and Fury. We all know that's not going to happen now. So the next thing will be dates, right? Then after that, it'll be prediction videos. Then after that, it's going to start getting toasty here on YouTube. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in the cart before the horse and get the party started. I'm also going to go ahead and drop a link in here if anybody wants to come in and discuss. First fight that I'm going to talk about is real briefly, and if anybody doesn't agree with me or have your opinion on it, you can click on the link or you can go in the comment section. But that is of Usyk and Joshua, the second fight, the rematch. I'm going to leave my thoughts about that fight. And like I said, anybody can come in, leave their comments, or click the link. After that, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to talk about this Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte fight. Then I'm going to talk about how I see the heavyweight division unfolding. And along the way, anybody can come in and leave their thoughts or opinions. So, Usyk Joshua, man, once the date is actually signed, sealed, and delivered, and we really know when it's going to be, then I'll drop my prediction videos. We'll do the live streams, get on the panels, and debate it. But for right now, I keep it short and simple. Short and simple. I just don't see it from Anthony Joshua anymore. I just really don't. I just don't see it from Anthony Joshua anymore, man. He's going to change trainers. He's going to get the dog out of him, this, that, and the third. He's going to be rejuvenated and what happened. But look, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. There was a time maybe 4 or 5 years ago where I thought Joshua is a threat. Joshua's talented, but somewhere along the way, somebody took his soul from him. Somebody took his heart from him. It's either that or he just started lining up against competition that wasn't scared of him, and not scared of him and not bullied by him. Or maybe it's a mixture of both. People stood up to him, and he got his soul taken from him. I don't think a trainer's going to make a difference. I just think it comes down to one thing when it comes to Anthony Joshua: heart and determination. And I just don't see it. MStacks 85 was good. Yeah, so I just don't see it, man. Usyk is just another beast. He's calculated and is talented. And he wasn't perfect in the first fight either. Usyk made some mistakes. He got touched here and there. There were a few times where I was on the edge of my seat like, damn, he's in a position to get hit by a big right hand by Joshua. So he's the type of guy that's going to sit down, watch tape, look at his flaws, and, you know what I mean, not make those same mistakes and not be deterred. So if the version that we got of Usyk the first fight is actually going to be an improved version of Usyk in the second fight, imagine the amount of improvement that Joshua is going to have to make. Y'all following me? I just don't see it happening. You might get the first 4 rounds where Joshua is trying to impose his will. Joshua's doing a nice few things that he didn't do in the first fight. But once again, once Usyk starts touching him up, using his boxing skill. You know, a lot of times in rematches, man, the fighter that lost the first fight, they come in guns blazing. And then when that doesn't work, they're quickly reminded about how they got their ass beat the first fight. And all of a sudden, it just falls apart very, very quickly. And that's how I see it happen in the rematch, man. So just quick thoughts there. Just quick thoughts there. I'm going to close this blind, man. This light's beaming in here like a lightsaber. Yeah. All right. So that's my thoughts on that fight. Now, I don't see any disagreements in the chat. So I'm going to assume that we're all on the same page. Andrew Charles, if AJ wants to beat Usyk, he needs to pummel him. He was affecting Usyk when he would attack. Yeah. But again, like I said, bro, that comes down to heart and determination. And I guess you can throw in there the killer instinct, which somehow he's lost it. And if anybody's wondering, like, oh, Divine's just talking shit about Anthony Joshua, I just said, like, there was a time where I thought that Joshua was a threat. Like, he's top 3 heavyweight, top 2 heavyweight. But somewhere along the line, he lost that. He lost that prowess. It's not a lack of abilities necessarily. I don't think he's the best boxer in the division, but I mean, the man's got skill, gold medalist, you know, multiple time champion. So it's not about abilities. It's not about the physical attributes either. He is the prototype heavyweight, right? 6'6", 240, looks the part, strong, athletic. So it has nothing to do with any of that. It's just here. That's it. And that's what boxing is. It's here and here. If you don't got this and this, I don't give a shit what kind of physical attributes you got. You're going to get done and dusted. Period. And that's how I feel about it. And like I said, once the fight is signed, sealed, and delivered, date set, I'll leave an official prediction like I always do. You guys know how I do it, man. Dissect on the left, dissect on the right, drop my prediction. We get the ball rolling, and we get into our debates. But those are my quick thoughts. So you guys get a little VIP access to where my mind is about that rematch. Let's move on now. Fury and what's the dude fight? Dillian Whyte. I get so damn confused with heavyweights all the time. They're all like doing a merry-go-round, ring around the rosy shit. So we got Fury and Dillian Whyte. Once again, quick thoughts here, top of the dome. I'm going to go live, quick thoughts, freestyle this shit. Once the date is set, then of course, boom, we got predictions, breakdown, release, live, panels, debates. Off the dome, freestyle. Look, man, haven't gave this fight too much thought. I mean, I usually don't waste my energy until like it's really signed, sealed, and delivered because, yeah, it's literally a waste of energy. Boxing, they like to play with our emotions all the time. I learned that shit a long time ago. So this guy's going to fight that guy. Okay, cool. Like, I just don't think about it until I know it's actually going to happen. But it's 95% at this point. So I'll go ahead and leave some quick thoughts. Look, man, I guess the first question that pops in my head is, what kind of Tyson Fury are we going to see? Are we going to see an in-shape Tyson Fury? Are we going to see a Tyson Fury who took shit serious like he did against Wilder in the second and third fight? Like, Fury took Deontay Wilder very seriously because he knew he can get knocked out. And he knew if he didn't come in shape to fight 12 rounds, Deontay's going to catch him. He's going to go to sleep. That's fact. And if you're a Tyson Fury fan and you don't like what I just said, too bad. Exit. Because that's fact. And you shouldn't care if I say that anyways. You would want the man to come into shape and take it serious anyway. So what kind of Tyson Fury are we going to get? Are we going to get a Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury coming in shape? Or are we going to get fat, lazy, out of shape, laying on the ropes, rope-a-dope, Tyson Fury, and try to squeeze out a 12-round decision? That's the thing about Tyson. We don't know, right? Now, I see him in the gym. I see him working out and stuff, and he more or less, like, physique-wise, look similar to what he looked against Deontay. But Tyson Fury's a loose cannon, man. Like, if I were to bet on the fight, like, I wouldn't even bet on it. Like, if I'm a Tyson Fury fan, cool, I'm going for Tyson. But I wouldn't bet on Tyson. And I'll tell you why. Because the dude is a loose cannon. The dude can be working out, looking good, and then the next day he, like, disappears off of social media for 3 weeks, and he goes on a coke binge or some shit. Or, or he gains a bunch of weight. Or, he's got mental health issues or whatever it is. Right? And then the fight creeps closer, and that's all the people talk about. I ain't trying to talk any silliness or craziness or anything that's untrue. These are facts. This is the reputation and the track record of Tyson Fury. So my point is that if he doesn't respect Dillian Whyte, then it's too unpredictable. And I don't really know if he respects him. I really don't know. I know he respected Deontay Wilder. Like, there's a thing where if you get dropped on your ass and nearly knocked out, arguably knocked out, then you got no choice to take it serious. So that's kind of like the question that pops into my head. Like, what kind of Tyson Fury are we going to take? How much does legacy really mean to him? Right? We know that he wants to win. We know that he's determined. We know what he can bring to the table when he takes it serious. But he's also shown to not take it serious. He's also said that belts don't mean anything to him. He has also said that legacy doesn't mean anything to him. He'll say that and then turn around and say, oh, Muhammad Ali is one of my favorite fighters. The dude is all over the place. And some people say, oh, well, Divine, that's his tactics. That's how he, plays the media. I don't got time for all that silly shit. Either you're legacy or you're not. It's not that hard. You're a boxer. You're a prize fighter. You're supposed to be one of the top in the sport. Either you say, I don't care about legacy. I'm in it for the money. At least you speak the truth. Shit. And if you're about legacy, then be about legacy. That's just me, though. Maybe I'm old school. So that's the first question that comes into my mind about this fight. What kind of Tyson Fury are we going to get? Now, let's assume and play I'll play devil's advocate. And let's say he does come in shape. Well, if that's the case, let's say he comes into shape and he fights Dillian like he fought Deontay the second and third fight, right? Coming forward, chopping him down, leaning on him, laying on him, headlocking Dillian Whyte. Don't let Dillian Whyte set his feet to throw big punches. He's supposed to win the fight. He's the champ, right? He's supposed to win the fight. Now, Tyson Fury can still box and beat Dillian Whyte as well. And Dillian Whyte's not the best boxer in the division, not even like top 5 or top 8. He's got some other key attributes that makes him a live dog, but he sure as hell ain't like the best boxer. I'm going to have to do a lot of guessing, because Tyson Fury did something in the Deontay Wilder fight that, most people didn't expect, including myself. Or he came forward, right, and tried to impose his size. Dirty little tactics, elbows, grabbing the head, pulling the head down, sneaky little uppercuts when the referee breaks it, smacking upside the head with an open hand, all this kind of crazy shit. And we can sit up here and get all upset about it, but hey, that's what he does. And if he gets away with it, he'll continue to do it. It is what it is, right? But we didn't expect that. We really didn't expect that. We've been seeing this Tyson Fury version for a long time, leading all the way up to the first Deontay Wilder fight where he's boxing. I don't know. Like, I don't really know. And if you're Dillian Whyte, you don't know either. Because now we've seen two different versions. But I will say this. If you're Dillian Whyte, I would prefer come forward Tyson. Because although, yes, Tyson has the size, he can try to overwhelm you, he can try to smother you and all that stuff, he try to chop you down. He's not a big puncher, but at the end of the day, he's a 6'9" man, 260, 70 pounds. It's gonna take its toll, right? But we saw what happened against Deontay. He walked forward, and he got hit with big shots and got dropped, right? The third fight was really a tell of that. And I don't think he came in the same shape he did in the third fight as he did in the second fight. So if I'm Dillian Whyte, that's what I would prefer, because that can kind of step into your realm. Him stepping forward, you can step back and throw big punches to the body, overlooping right hands, and try to catch him. He can be hurt. He can be dropped. Does Dillian Whyte have Deontay Wilder power? No. But he's got some power. He's got a chin too. I would be more worried about Tyson trying to bounce on his toes and box, because that's going to be tough, man. You got to try to walk him down, cut off the ring. He's going to be jab, 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 occasional straight right hand, smother you, twist, turn you, put your back on the ropes, little combo, and to continue that routine for 12 rounds. Now, Tyson Fury may decide to do that because I don't know, maybe he feels like, let me just get through these 12 rounds, take care of this mandatory, and then we'll deal with the bigger fish later. Because that'll be some shit if he comes in there reckless, coming forward, and Dillian Whyte catches him. Now, my question is what will the people say? If Dillian Whyte knocks out Tyson Fury, what will people say? Will they say, oh, he's got more power than Deontay. Deontay couldn't stop him. But Dillian can. Because I'll tell you what I'll say. I'll say, it looks like Deontay Wilder put some damage on that ass. That's what I'm going to say. Looks like Deontay Wilder damaged Tyson. So at this point, you can argue that Tyson Fury is vulnerable. Hit him in the right spot. Bop. Right? This is boxing. And I would not be surprised. And it won't even cross my mind. Oh, damn, Dillian Whyte can do it, but Deontay, I'll be like, oh, yep. That is a product of Deontay Wilder's work. Simple as that. And before people get their panties in a bunch and get their feathers all ruffled up, Tyson won the second and third fight. You're missing the point. This is boxing. There are no immortals, right? We're mortal men. You take damage. Deontay took damage against Tyson Fury too. But Deontay Wilder is taking a long break if he does decide to come back. He got some time to regenerate. Don't get it twisted and don't be fooled by the trickery of Tyson Fury as if he's some force that is indestructible. He's a human being, and he took some hellacious shots from Deontay and their 3-fight trilogy. Okay? So, if I'm Dillian, that's what I'm thinking. You ain't going to outbox the man. You ain't going to out-clinch him. You ain't going to out-dirty tactic him, if that's even a word, you ain't gonna beat him at Tyson's game. If I'm Dillian Whyte, I go for broke. I get my stamina on point, and I'm building my power, right? And I'm practicing, because Tyson's a taller, bigger man. I'm working on those big looping overhand rights, reaching over the top, trying to come over that jab hand, come down on that chin, big shots to the body, but train your body to release that power, but then recover. There's no point of don't be like Deontay and try to use all the power that you got in the first 3 rounds and then you're done. Because Tyson Fury is more clever than we give him credit for. He is a veteran at the end of the day, even though he's relatively, what is he, like 30, 31 or whatever the hell he is. But he's been in boxing his whole life. He wants you to get tired because he knows he's not a big puncher. He knows he's a big man, but he's not a big puncher. But if you get tired, Tyson Fury becomes a big puncher. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Tyson Fury knows that he's not a big puncher. But if he gets you tired, he becomes a big puncher. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So that's what's going to happen if you're Dillian Whyte. Tactful usage of power is what's going to give you a chance against Tyson Fury. Razor 531, what's good? So I'm not dropping a prediction, but like I said, this is a freestyle of how I see the fight. And this comes down to mostly Tyson Fury, what kind of a version we're going to see of him. And I'm going to have to do a lot of film study of Dillian Whyte to see if I find anything worth note. I've only seen like maybe 2 or 3 fights of Dillian Whyte. I don't watch UK fighters that much. No disrespect. I'm from the States. I support American fighters more so than any country for that matter. I have a few fighters here and there in different countries that I like, but I just don't watch UK fighters that much. But I have seen 2 or 3 fights. So that's what I see in my head right now. But I'm going to have to film study and give him the benefit of the doubt and, do it properly and see what he brings to the table. But right now, that's how I see it. So, looks like most people are just listening and soaking in my information. No dispute. So I'll keep it moving, man. This is a freestyle. I'll send the link here if anybody wants to jump in and give any quick thoughts. If not, I'm going to keep it moving here, keep it rolling here. I don't plan for this to be an extremely live stream. A long live stream. It doesn't look like YouTube is putting out my notifications properly. Nothing new. That's how they do me. Nothing new. So if you just joined, I talked a little bit about Uysk and Joshua. I just got done talking about Fury and Dillian Whyte. I spoke about my last live the possibility of Deontay Wilder coming back and fighting Andy Ruiz. I would love to see that fight. I'd love to just see Deontay Wilder show that he's not done yet. He's got 2 or 3 big fights left in him, and see if he can throw a monkey wrench in this whole conversation that's happening right now that excludes Deontay. But even though Deontay is not in the conversation at the moment, he's still like in the top 3 or 4 in most rankings until he actually officially retires. But my thing is that normally fighters, right, when they retire, they usually retire within the month of a big fighter they lose, especially when they lose. sometimes when they win, but usually within the month. But as time continues to go on, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, it usually indicates that they're coming back. Now, Deontay is chilling with his family, recovering. We all know he broke his hand in the third fight. So that's all part of the recovery. But Deontay's in a unique position, something that he hasn't been in like 2 years or more, which is sit at home and watch other heavyweights fight each other, right? He can watch the Usyk and Joshua fight. He can watch the Fury Dillian Whyte fight. And he's in that position, like I said, he hasn't been in that position for a while because the past 2 or 3 years he's been wrapped up in the Tyson Fury saga. So now he can sit back and watch and measure and see what happens. Then he can move his chess piece on the board. Something to think about. I see my man K-Rod in the building. What's up, bro? How you?
Yo, what is up, Divine? Long time no see.
I'm still around, still kicking. They try to hold me down, man, but they can't.
Oh man, what happened?
Yeah, my dad passed, man, last week.
Man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then 2 or 3 weeks ago, my best friend in the military overdosed and passed away as well. So, yeah, it's been tough, man. Back-to-back losses. Been taking some L's, man, but you got to come back and go back down victory lane. You know what I mean? So, I was just telling the viewers that this is what my dad would want. He would want me to keep pushing, and that's what I got to do. He's the one who introduced me to boxing, so I'm sure he's looking down and proud. So that's what we do, man. But yeah, I had to take the time off. Obviously, I tried to come live a few times and just didn't have the energy. So this is my second comeback on this channel. But look, man, there's a lot to be excited about, right? The heavyweight division is starting to slowly unfold. We're waiting for the merry-go-rounds of who's going to fight who and when and how. It looks like we know. It looks like everything's pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered other than an actual date and venue. But usually that's the last thing that gets decided anyway. And we got a couple other big fights. I plan to drop a prediction video real quick. We're only a few days away, but excuse me, of Thurman and Mario Barrios. I had to put that out there. I'll go live during that fight. And there's a lot of rumblings out there about Canelo and what he's going to do too, which gives me an absolute headache. It just seems never ending. It's just like I feel like Canelo is, and not to change the topic, but it just popped in my head. But I feel like Canelo is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like he wants to please his own fans. In his head, he's like, well, my own fans will love me regardless. So if the other boxing fans don't love me, who cares? I'm still going to get paid. I can fight whoever I want to fight. And I'm still going to have these loyal, 1 million diehard Canelo fans. But there's also a part of them, hate him or love him. I believe there is a part of him where he cares about legacy, and he does care what people say and think about him. Case in point, when Caleb Plant smacked the shit out of him and was talking shit, right, at the press conference, you can tell that got under his skin. You can tell that it bothers him when people bring up him, failing drug tests and things like that and ducking certain fighters. It bothers him. So I feel like he's stuck, right? That's why he can't make his damn mind up. And he's probably got promoters in his left ear. He's got his family in his right ear. And then he goes to bed at night trying to think about what he's going to do with himself. And so that's that. Now, perhaps, we can talk about it a little bit if you want, but I'll go live eventually and talk about Canelo. I get tired, man. I get tired of like, oh, is he going to do this? Oh, no, I guess he's not. Oh, I guess he's going to do this. Oh, shit, he's not doing that. Just wait until he decides whatever the hell he's going to do. And then either I will praise him or I will criticize him. It's as simple as that. And I feel that way about any boxer, especially at this high level. And you're in a position to make these type of decisions. Even when it comes down to Earl and Crawford, it's like, I'm going to wait to see what you do. And then I'm either going to praise you or I'm going to criticize you. It's simple. And I'm just sick and tired, man, of boxers just playing with our emotions, pulling us to the left, pulling us to the right. It's like a tug of war. So now I just chill. I just wait. I'll freestyle some shit, but I'm not investing too much time and energy in what ifs. What's your thoughts, bro?
Man, that's a lot of unpacking to do. But to kind of break it off and just chop it up, I think Canelo's still going to be Canelo. He's still going to go on this, like, oh, I don't know where to go next. And I mean, I won't be surprised if he goes the route of facing, Peanut Head, Makabu, if that's going to be the next choice. But if the rumors are true, I heard he said he'll be facing Charlo by May 7th, according to Eddie Reynoso. That was by source of Blue Blood Sports TV. But I'm not even so sure if that's even true either, because Eddie, he has a tendency, to lie a lot. So I just don't think Canelo is going to be, consistent from here on out. And I mean, as far as the political landscape goes, I mean, like where else does Canelo have to go? I mean, if anything, Canelo doesn't have that much, left to prove. If he really wants to show any validity left, I'd say finish up what you should have started at 175, or to say the least, maybe, try to, go back to fighting David Benavidez or maybe a Jamal Charlo, if he gets his bearings up at 168. But other than that, I don't really see anything, spectacular for Canelo. And I wanted to ask, like, what was that the other topic that you brought up? I forgot.
Duke Todd, what's good, bro? Omega Red, no problems, bro. Now I just wanted to come in here and freestyle about Joshua Usyk, and then of course Fury and Dillian Whyte. And because it seems like those fights are what we're gonna watch in the heavyweight division. And yeah, just tossing it around because when I go live, it's more of like chopping it up and freestyling. But I usually drop uploads of my official predictions and breakdowns because I put a lot of effort and time into it, make sure it's right, edit it, all that good stuff. But essentially, yeah, that's what it is. And I talked a little bit about Deontay and what he may or may not do. I think I was saying right before you came in here that he's in a unique position to do something that he hasn't done in several years, which is actually sit back and watch these other heavyweights fight each other. Then he has the ability to move his chess piece on the board. And that's something that he hasn't been able to do for a while, right? Because he's been so entangled with Tyson Fury for so long. So, feel free to leave your thoughts on how you think the Usyk and Joshua fight's going to play out. You don't got to break it down brick by brick. It could be a quick little prediction thoughts. For me, I think he may have joined a little bit later, and I know my man Duke Todd and PGH Big Dog just joined in. But for me, I just don't see that Joshua has the heart anymore. Boxing is all about determination, will, and heart. Skill, abilities, physical attributes only take you so far. And I don't think that he has it in him anymore. All this talk, all this craziness that he's saying about changing trainers and referencing to American gangsters, it's just a bunch of silly shit. Usyk, and putting that to the side, Usyk, as I was saying earlier, he wasn't perfect in the first fight. He was better than Joshua, but he wasn't perfect. He made mistakes. And he's the type of guy that is calculated and is going to fix those mistakes. So if you have a very good Usyk in the first fight, then an even better Usyk in the second fight, how do you beat that if you're Joshua? It's for me, it's like you might as well go in there and use your 6'6", 240 frame and try to beat him up. But I don't see Joshua doing that. When was the last time we saw Joshua do that? Use his physical attributes to just walk someone down and just beat him up, especially when they're smaller than him. He got picked apart in the first fight because he's like trying to outbox a smaller, quicker, savvy veteran in Usyk. And he got pieced the hell up. But does he have the grit? Does he have the determination? Does he have the heart? Does he have the will to just walk over and just run over Usyk, run his ass over? But can he do it? What do you think, K-Rod?
I mean, I think AJ is just done. I mean, people think Anthony Joshua is just great big heavyweight, but I say no because like when you take a look at the AJ that was young, hungry, determined back in 2015 versus a Deontay Wilder at that same time frame, Anthony Joshua was nowhere at that level, and he still isn't, till this day. And I just think, with Oleksandr Usyk, I think he's just going to show the same deficiencies that Anthony Joshua has had, because I truly believe that the loss from Andy Ruiz took something out of him, and he doesn't have the fighting spirit that he once did in the past. And he knows that, losing to Usyk back to back is pretty much like another, devastating career loss that, that will just put him, to rest. So I think
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's like you gotta prove me now. You gotta prove it to me now. Like I had my doubts in the first fight. I predicted Usyk to win. Obviously, I won. Got some good money out of it too. Felt good, and pissed off the Joshua fans. But at that time, it was just like it was. I would say 55-45. I was like, Joshua can still land a big punch. But now, I'm like, nah. Like you got to prove it to me now. I just don't see it. And I'm very comfortable betting on Usyk once again. I'm at the point now it's like, nah. And any Joshua fans out there lurking behind the shadows, if Usyk beats his ass to a pulp or drops him, stops him, like I just don't see how Joshua could come back from that. I really don't. And to me, I feel like all this talk over so many years about Joshua would whoop Deontay's ass and Deontay's ducking Joshua. Little old cruiserweight Usyk whooped his ass. What do you think Deontay would have done to him?
Decapitated him.
Real talk. What do you think Deontay would have done to him? I mean, really? I don't give a shit about. Oh well, Joshua. Yeah, basically, yeah, he's like a better boxer. Yeah. So was Ortiz.
It's the same thing with Subriel Matias, but they're just flipping it.
Pretty much.
Because Deontay Wilder can be a pure boxer. That has been shown on multiple occasions, even in the Tyson Fury fights, especially in the first and third fight. Deontay Wilder broke Fury down with a jab, and Fury can't get away from a jab. So therefore, with Deontay Wilder, if he had implemented it more, he should have just used those jabs to the body more consecutively, and he would have just forced Fury to his back foot. And
you mean in the third fight?
Yeah, first and third fight.
I mean, put this out there. In the first fight, he was 212, 215, whatever the hell he was. In the third fight, he was 235. That has to be noted. But my thing is how he fought the first fight was great, but Tyson Fury also fought different in the first fight. So in the third fight, he just he just wasn't relaxed. He
Yeah.
wasn't calm at all. I'm not saying he was nervous. I'm saying that he was rigid. He was too fixated on knocking out Tyson Fury. He was probably thinking, I'm going to knock his ass out in 2. In his head, he was thinking, I've been building up this power. I feel strong. I feel good. I feel much better than I did the second fight. I got my legs, because anybody that like, if when you build muscle, I've been there a few times in my life where you build muscle, you walk around, you feel great. You feel big and strong. Your shirts feel tight and shit. You're like, yeah. But all of a sudden, all that extra muscle that you have now packed on, instead of me having to go in and do a bench press or do some squats or whatever have you, now I got to go out and run 2 miles, do 50 pull-ups and 300 push-ups or whatever it is. Like, that extra muscle that I packed on is now going to affect me. That's just the way it is. And that's what I do for a living. So you mix that in with being rigid and be like not having, like, I think Malik Scott had a game plan. I don't put that on Malik Scott. Deontay just said, you know what, I'm making a decision. He made a decision. Soon as that first bell rang, he made a decision, probably at the moment, and said, you know what? He looked across the ring. He said, I'm going to knock his ass out. I mean, when he was throwing the jabs to the body in the first round, he was putting his whole damn body into that shit. It's like, and you can see Tyson was like, whoa. Like, Tyson did not expect that. And Tyson stepped back. He's like, oh, shit. He felt it. But Tyson also knows that he's thinking to himself, Deontay's expending a lot of energy. I'm just going to keep coming forward, and he's got to hit that perfect spot in the body. If he can't, then I'm just going to take it. And it is what it is, right? But the weights, the whole saga, the vengeful nature of it, all these little things all came into play. But no need to beat a dead horse. The fact of the matter is that you're right, K-Rod. You take a Deontay Wilder from the first fight, sprinkle a little bit of weight on him. You know, you can put him up at like 218. You put him in there against Joshua, it's lights out. That not even the hand speed, the fast twitch muscles that Deontay has, that quick explosive, like he's on top of you and he's got that reach, he's got that power. It's over, bro. It's over. Ain't no way. And if he's gonna drop a 6'9", 270-pound man more than once, what do you think is gonna happen to Joshua? And the bigger problem is that Fury has the chin. Joshua doesn't. Joshua almost got dropped by a cruiserweight. And some people said that fight was rigged in the 12th round, where he should have been dropped or stopped or whatever it was, and they called the fight early. But whatever. The point is, he was seriously hurt against a cruiserweight. What do you think would have happened if Deontay got a hold of him? So my people might say, well, why are you bringing up Deontay, man? Well, I'm telling you why. Because if Uysk drops Joshua, I don't want to hear none of this, oh, Deontay was scared of Joshua. I don't want to hear none of that shit. And your man is done. He's done. And that's what it is. And then that's the way boxing works. That's the way the universe works. Joshua will get knocked out by Uysk. Deontay will come back and knock out Ruiz. A guy who's never been stopped. That's the way shit works, man. I'm telling you. And then people say, oh, damn. What if Deontay did get a hold of Joshua? There would have never been a Uysyk fight. Imagine that shit. Imagine if Deontay fought Joshua right after he fought Ortiz the second time. There would have never been a Uysyk fight. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
TS Boxing was good. So that's how we see. You and I are pretty much aligned on the Usyk Joshua fight. I don't see anybody here disputing that. There might be some Joshua fans lurking, but if you ain't saying shit, then it is what it is. Now, Dillian Whyte Fury. I was saying earlier that I don't know what kind of Fury we're going to get. Are we going to get, I'm going to come forward and walk you down, headlock you, uppercut you, pull your head down, smack you upside the head with an open hand Fury? Or are we going to get a Fury like we saw against Klitschko? Or against Deontay in the first fight? Trying to box, trying to move, trying to maneuver, you know, jab, 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 right hand, tie you up, turn you, put you on the ropes, referee separate, jab, 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 right hand. What are we going to see? Or are we going to see him try to walk down Dillian Whyte and do what he did against Deontay? I don't know. But, you know, we're going to have to see that. But that's what comes to my mind first. Like when I first think about the fight, I think, okay, what type of Fury I'm going to get? Now, I don't know what you agree or disagree with me and K-Rod, but for Dillian Whyte's sake, in my opinion, I think that Fury took damage against Wilder. I think there's some type of psychological effect. When you get dropped, nearly knocked out twice in 3 rounds, and there's probably several times where he was hurt and just didn't go down. I mean, let's keep it 100. That takes a toll on you. For me, I feel like Dillian Whyte's whole game plan is power management. Landing big, hard, looping shots over Tyson Fury's jab. Big right hands. Just loop it across. Boom. And just loop him in. Try to catch him. And it doesn't matter what Tyson does. I mean, it works better for you if Tyson does try to come forward because you can just step back, loop it, right? And if you don't land, you tie up. You put your big body into Tyson Fury, right? But if Tyson tries to box, then you're going to have to cut off the ring and get across that long jab, that little long flicking jab. You know how he flicks his wrist out? He gets like an extra 3 inches when he does that shit. You have to get past that and try to loop something. I feel like the right hand is going to be a big weapon for Dillian Whyte. And this is, like I said, this is a freestyle. I'm going to have to watch and see Dillian Whyte's past fights to really, okay, do I see any like body work? Does he have any counter punching ability? You know, what's his boxing IQ? I've only seen him fight maybe 2-3 times. So I'm going to have to go in, but I just don't know. I'm not going to drop a prediction at this point, but just looking at it from afar, that's what I see. Number one, what kind of Fury are we going to get? Number two, is Dillian Whyte going to be intimidated? Is he going to be scared? Is he going to be ready? Is he going to be prepared? Does he recognize that Fury just came out of a war, 3-fight war against Deontay? He's been damaged. There's a psychological effect. Do you take advantage of that? So that's how I kind of see it. How do you see it?
Yeah, I kind of see it as like a pretty much like a open opportunity for Whyte to, you know, get any disadvantages out of Fury. And I think if Dillian Whyte comes out like he did against, you know, Povetkin, I think Tyson Fury can easily lose, you know, to him, just simply because of, you know, all the physical wear and tear applied to him from the, you know, Wilder fights. So I just don't see how Tyson Fury is going to end up like the same Fury from, you know, like the Wilder clashes. So I think Dillian Whyte, he could very well upset Tyson Fury in this fight.
Well, hey, Raw Dog, the Prophet, bro, I see you, man. Yeah, I'm trying to pick myself up, bro. I appreciate you. You're one of the guys that have been messaging me throughout this time, and I appreciate you immensely, bro. Watcher, what's good, man? I see you. Yeah, you know, let's put it to you this way. Who's fought Deontay 3 times? Nobody. Tyson Fury. He's the only one. So ain't nobody out there that understands what it means to take punches from the most powerful puncher in the heavyweight division than Tyson Fury. Now, that can mean one or two things. One, he may think, I've taken the biggest punches from the biggest puncher in the division, so Dillian Whyte ain't got shit. Or, I've taken the biggest punches from the biggest puncher in the game, in the heavyweight division, and it's taken a toll on me. And I hope not to get hit with something big like that again, because I don't know if I can take it. Now, Dillian Whyte's not a Deontay Wilder as far as power is concerned, but the dude can punch. He can punch. Don't get it twisted. So, where is Tyson Fury mentally? Right? And on that regard, we don't know what kind of Tyson Fury we're going to get, in the sense of, are we going to get determined and in shape Tyson? Or are we going to get fat ass, out of shape? Sorry, I went on a food and beer and Coke binge. And therefore, oh shit, the fight's next week. I'm going to go in here and try and jab and hold and jab and hold and try to sneak away with the 12-round decision. At the end of the day, he's a champ. So if you're Dillian Whyte, you got to take it to him. You got to win. You got to take it from the champ. And I'm assuming the fight will probably be, I don't know if they can fight in the UK with Tyson's situation. But I would imagine most UK fans are going to be supporting Fury. I saw a poll on my home page on YouTube. Somebody dropped a poll. It was one of the bigger boxing channels. Maybe it was like Fight Hype or something. And it was like Tyson versus Dillian Whyte, who's going to win? I mean, it was like 70% Tyson. Said knockout. 70% said Tyson will knock out Dillian Whyte. 70%. And Fight Hype has got, a couple million subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they got a lot of people. It's a big channel. So that was a little bit shocking. And was only like maybe 20% for Dillian Whyte winning by knockout, and the extra 10 whatever percent was like it's going to go to the scorecard. So most people are choosing knockout in this fight. Well, I mean, okay, it's a heavyweight match. It's never a bad bet to go knockout in heavyweight. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's like, it's always like a 50-50 for me. If you're a betting person and you bet knockout in the heavyweights, you have a 50% chance to get it right. It's not like betting knockout in the featherweight division. So, I mean, I'm not going to drop a prediction because, like I said, I still got to do some film studies. Tyson, I've been studying him so much to the point where I feel like I know him like the back of my hand because of all the Deontay Wilder fights. I don't, it's just a matter of, does he come forward or does he box? I know both of those styles because I've studied them extensively. Doesn't matter to me. Dillian, though, however, I don't know, man. I just don't know, and I hope he's got a good team that constructs a good game plan. And is Dillian Whyte? I mean, we've heard him in social media, right? He's been moaning and groaning and complaining about not getting a title shot for how long? I'm the mandatory. Well, you got your shot now. Are you going to seize your moment? Here's your question for you, K-Rod, and for the chat. If Dillian Whyte stops Tyson Fury, will Deontay be respected more or less?
More.
He'll be respected more. And chat, let me know what you think. I'll repeat the question one more time. If Dillian Whyte knocks out Tyson Fury, will Deontay Wilder be respected more or less? Let me know in the chat. Because that's an interesting question to ask. Because it can go two ways, right? Oh, Dillian could knock him out, but Deontay couldn't. Dillian's a better fighter. Or Dillian knocks him out because of the damage that Fury had taken against Deontay Wilder. Right? Deontay Wilder was the genesis of Fury's ultimate demise and destruction. So I don't know. That's just popped in my head. Or like Rod Dodd just said in the comments, or nobody gives a shit about Deontay Wilder anymore unless he makes a comeback. Now, us as Deontay Wilder fans, if you're a Deontay Wilder fan, obviously, I think we all feel the same. We're a bit torn. For me, I'm like, if the man wants to retire and be with his family, he's deserved that. He's earned that. And I support him. But if he's like, you know what, I'm going to come back and shake it up one more time, obviously, I'm like, hell yeah. And I think for me, it's not like I want to see knockouts again or I want to see Deontay Wilder back in the ring. That's an obvious one. But it's more like, what kind of Deontay are we going to get after these 3 fights with Fury? Is he going to be a rejuvenated fighter and bring it back to 2016, 17, and just be even more devastating and put the heavyweight division back on notice again? That's what I'm excited for if he does decide to come back. So the heavyweight division is quite interesting because that's why I put on the title, how will it end? How will it end? And this is the question I guess I'll throw to you, K-Rod, and people in the chat can comment. Let's say 5 years from now. We'll say less. We'll say 3 years. 3 years from now, where do you see the heavyweight division? Who is the best? Who has most of the belts? Or do we get undisputed? How do you see it in 3 years, K-Rod?
I'd say in 3 years, I see all the old heavyweights gone. I think Wilder will be gone. Fury most definitely gone. AJ gone. Usyk gone. Dillian Whyte gone. I think it'll probably be Jared Big Baby Anderson. And I want to say maybe Stephen Shaw if he's able to get his, quality wins. And then I probably might say maybe Daniel Dubois. And then after that, I'd say possibly Frank Sanchez and maybe F.A. Ajagba. But I think the heavyweight division is going to be at a bloody stalemate. So I don't think anybody's really going to be having like dominant, praise until like, the heavyweights actually start getting it going. And I think it's very well likely that it can get it going because there's a lot of young up and coming talent that's just getting started, especially with, some of the Cuban heavyweights and then, a little bit with, I guess like, some of the black heavyweights, especially other guys like Dakari Scott and who's that other heavyweight? I think that other guy, maybe Sonny Kanta, right? He's that white fighter,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I figured, yeah.
Okay, well, how about this then? Will we, because you said that all the old heavyweights that are currently in the top 5 will leave in 3 years, which is respectable and understandable. Of those top 5 before they actually leave, will we, in your opinion, get an undisputed champ?
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
And who will that be?
I probably would say Tyson Fury. He'll probably get his, political advantages over Usyk, but if that ever turns around,
but he's got to get past Dillian Whyte.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't know. Honestly, like I say, that's yet to be determined. After both men get through their fights, but I say after whoever wins either fight, they're definitely going to see each other for undisputed.
Right. So, that's why the heavyweight division is. Picasso, what's good, bro? that's why it's interesting because, like you said, we have aging heavyweights at this point. I mean, let's call it what it is. Fury's in his 30s. Dillian Whyte's in his 30s. Deontay's in his 30s. I believe Joshua's in his 30s. Usyk's in his 30s, right? So, all aging heavyweights. But they still got a little, all those names I just mentioned, I think all have a little bit left in the tank. All have the capability to unify the titles and become undisputed. It's just a matter of who and when and is it possible, I guess. But I guess the best way is, we can put everything up on the screen here so people can just take a glance just to refresh your memory of what the rankings are for the heavyweight division. Oh, damn it. Yeah. So there you go. We got, let me make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, so you got Tyson Fury. The first one, obviously, he's the champ. He's got the WBC and ring. Usyk at number 1. He's got IBF, WBA, and WBO. Joshua at 2. Wilder at 3. Dillian Whyte at 4. Joseph Parker 5. Andrew Ruiz 6. Luis Ortiz at 7. Joe Joyce 8. Filip Horgovic number 9, and Frank Sanchez at number 10. So that's the top 10 according to the ring, right? Obviously, other websites will have things maybe a little bit differently, but that's what it is. So for me, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's a tough one to call, but if I were to be in a situation where I had to go all in, and I had a nice little hand, like if I had a flush or maybe a straight flush, and I'm feeling confident to go all in, I would say that Usyk will beat Joshua. Fury will beat Dillian Whyte. Fury and Usyk will fight for the titles. In the meantime, Wilder will come back, beat Ortiz, and then Wilder will fight. After that, it's tough. It's hard for me to say that he'll go back in and get a title shot. Very tough. But I think that's what it'll come down to. And as far as Fury and Usyk, yeah, I think Fury beats Usyk. I think he does. But like I said, that's without dissecting anything, really. Not really putting everything side by side. It's just I have a straight flush and I go all in. That's how I see it. But it's hard to say. If Wilder beats Ruiz, he technically could demand a rematch for a title shot, I guess, especially if he wins in grand fashion. To kind of be a little monkey wrench and kind of say Deontay Wilder's last hurrah and try to sneak the belts back before he retires. But, it's hard to say. Especially if Tyson Fury still holds all those belts. You know what I mean? Because even if Wilder beats Ruiz grand fashion and people are feeling confident that he's back, and Fury beats Usyk and or Dillian Whyte, I don't think anybody wants to see Fury and Wilder anymore. So the only way that Wilder gets belts back is if he fights Usyk, or if somehow Joshua beats Usyk and takes the titles back, then he might fight Joshua. I just don't see another fight with Fury and Wilder. I don't know. It's hard to imagine that we'll get a fourth fight. Unless Wilder knocks out Ruiz, knocks out Joshua, knocks out Usyk, then we might get it. But I just don't see that happening. There's just not enough time. Not enough time for these men at their age and their point in their careers. My man Picasso says Fury is getting a fast pass like at Universal Studios. Fury really hasn't fought anyone on this level, on his level. In my opinion, he has to fight someone who gets the same passes. Do you agree? He can't cheat and the other not. Yeah, the thing about Tyson Fury is, if you're a big fan of him, good for you. Uh, he doesn't have a very good resume. And we can sit up here and talk shit about Anthony Joshua all night long, but he doesn't even have a resume that compares to Anthony Joshua, if you want to get technical. So, yeah, he's got these 3 victories against Wilder. Great. Got some belts. Beat Klitschko like 30 years ago. And so, and yes, I'm being sarcastic. And so, like, his resume isn't really good. Even though Joshua, if he gets clipped by Usyk and retires, Tyson Fury's resume still won't be as good. Even if he does get past Dillian Whyte. And my man K-Rod says there's a possibility that he won't get past Dillian Whyte. So that's how legacy should really be determined, right? Now you might say, okay, well, Devon, let's say Joshua loses to Usyk and then Tyson beats Dillian Whyte and then boom, both retire. Who's better? Who should go above the other when it comes to the all-time great heavyweights? That's tough. That's a tough decision because resume-wise, even though that Fury beat Dillian Whyte and Joshua lost to Usyk twice, in my opinion, Joshua still has a better resume. The only difference is that Joshua never fought the most devastating puncher in the heavyweight division, Deontay Wilder. That's where I might give the slight edge to Fury, give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, because he did fight Wilder not once, not twice, but 3 times, and Joshua wouldn't even dare to get close to Wilder. So maybe I would give the slight edge to Fury, but not by much. Not by much. He just does not have a good resume, period. And the only reason why I give him a little bit of leeway is because he was willing to fight Deontay. Well, he was willing to fight him the first and second fight. He didn't really want to fight him the third fight. Let's be honest. Do you agree with that, K-Rod? He really didn't want that third fight.
Yeah, because he knew what Deontay Wilder was going to bring out of him, and it showed in the third fight. He didn't want to be there, so he had to basically juice himself to the gills and try to use any dirty tactics possible, and probably have the slim chance of luck to even try to hurt Wilder, in which he barely was even successful to even stopping him, and actually even at the quote unquote knockout that he had on Wilder, Deontay Wilder got back up. So that just shows. Yeah, that just shows that Tyson Fury doesn't have punching power. I'm putting that out there.
It's a cumulative, and Wilder was gassed in that third fight. I mean, he was just.
Yeah, and I want to say
his body was just done.
I want to say that the dented skull played a factor too. I'm not so sure if that's a possible, reason why, he didn't look as, how should I say, physically resistant to the punches. It seemed like Fury
especially
was
to
like
the head. Yeah.
Yeah. Tyson Fury was, he was persistently timing his shots to the right spot of Deontay Wilder's dented skull. So he probably thought inside his mind, if he could hurt Deontay Wilder to that same spot where the skull is dented, that could possibly play like a factor late game. And I guess it gave him some minor success. But I say when you have fatigue on top of adrenaline rushing through your body, you don't know what's going on, and then your equilibrium's messed up. Then Deontay Wilder, he's in a life or death situation, because it's like Tyson Fury knew even though Deontay Wilder was still dangerous to hurt him, he basically just went in there, praying that he could just hit Wilder with that one devastating shot, and he barely had any success.
Yeah, now let me say this to Tim Nick, man. My man Tim, he's he's basically like a rogue warrior on my page, running around here correcting people on my videos in regards to Wilder Fury. The dude is relentless. But let me say this. I've done a film study of the second fight, and it's up on my channel. I've said my piece. I've dissected it literally brick by brick, minute by minute. It's like a 3-hour live stream, which ironically enough, PBC let me keep it up. But let me put it to you this way. Tim, we know what it is. We know what it is, right? But unfortunately, when the history books are written, Tyson Fury won 2 out of the 3. Now, we can say here and in other places that that's bullshit, and we don't agree with it because we know the ins and outs. We know the story. We know what we saw. We know what is real and what isn't real. But unfortunately, that's where boxing is tainted and has been for hundreds of years, right? I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm not saying that we have to accept it. I'm not saying that we don't speak about it. I'm saying the end result is what it is and will continue to be so until there is actual real change that happens in the sport. We sat up here, several channels, including myself, after that second fight, leading up to the third fight, spending countless hours, countless amounts of energy, getting into beefs, getting into wars. There was a meteor striking YouTube when this shit was going on. And we were telling people, look at the footage, look at the evidence, check this out, look at the second fight, break it down frame by frame. Y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't paying attention. Y'all ain't looking. You don't want to know. You don't care. You don't want to know the truth. And we preached it and we preached it and we preached it from the hilltop. It fell upon deaf ears, except for the people that actually cared and wanted to know the truth. Even me, as a Deontay Wilder fan, going into that second fight, I watched it live. I didn't see everything watching it live. I mean, I saw him not have his legs from when I was like, what's wrong with him? Something's not right. What is going on? Then Mark Breland throwing in the towel. I'm like, what? Right? But I didn't really know all the details. But you got to be willing to listen and open your eyes and not be persuaded by the masses. See, that's the problem in society right now. Like to be sheep, like to be persuaded by the masses. Whatever Big Brother tells you, you fall in line. Whatever media tells you, you fall in line. That's just the way it is. But the line is drawn in the sand, right? That and you either on the side of like you are gonna protect Tyson Fury at all costs, and you deflect any possibility of him cheating or being involved in cheating in some way, form, or fashion, or you know what it is, you know what you saw, you got your eyes that God blessed you with, and you saw what you saw, and you stand on your square. That's it. Now, for the record, and I've said it multiple times, do I think Wilder won the first fight? Absolutely. Absolutely, I thought he won the first fight with the knockdown, and I thought he did well enough in the first, whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 rounds. He won enough rounds to where I thought he should have got the nod as the champion. And that's what pisses me off the most. Because we spend a lot of time on here talking about, oh, you got to take it from the champ. You got to take it from him. I didn't see Tyson Fury take shit from Deontay Wilder in that first fight. He had his moments. He boxed okay. He did what we thought he was going to do. Right? Which was box. But he didn't take shit from Deontay Wilder. Now, the second fight, like I just said, the film study's up on the channel. You can listen to Deontay's Boxing Nation. You can listen to Champ Side. You can listen to 78. You can listen to Blue Blood. You can listen to all these other channels who talked about it. But it's your boy Divine Sense Boxing, and don't you dare forget it, who did a boxing study, film study of the entire second fight. I'm not here to persuade you. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to tell you, go look it up for yourself. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The third fight, Deontay Wilder was full of vengeance. He lost his bearings. He took his eyes off the prize. It is what it is. You can be upset that I said that, but hey, I say it out of love. Sometimes the truth hurts. His mind and his body wasn't connected. They weren't as one. His mind was somewhere else, and his body was somewhere else. His mind was fixated on revenge and vengeance. But this is war. You don't go to war with vengeance. You go to war with tactic. You break down your enemy. You demoralize your enemy. And you make your enemy submit. And we have seen Deontay do that many times before. When he fought Bermane Sterving the first time, they criticized him. He said, cool, watch him. Watch. Second fight. Embarrassed him. Outboxed him. That was tactic. That's when his body and his mind was connected. He was determined. He was on a mission. But I'm proud of Deontay. Win, lose, or draw. Because he stood by his convictions when he knew he was wronged. And say what you want to say about Deontay. And we have people say, oh, man, I was so sick and tired of all these lies, all these allegations. Y'all remember what people were saying. And people got so determined and so upset about it that they said, then it became race. Right? Y'all remember that. Right? First it was, oh, come on, man. Like, don't do that. Don't say that, Fury is a part of any allegation. Don't do that. Then it became like a white, black, Hispanic thing. Oh, we're over here and you're over there. Yeah. Right? Shit. But look, man, like I said, win, lose, or draw. Bruce goes, what's good? I saw you over on Drew Titan. Win, lose, or draw, I got a lot of respect for Deontay, and I'll tell you why. After that second fight, he had the right? We all heard what he said, right? We all heard what he said about the allegations and how he felt. He could have said right then and there, I don't want to have to do anything with this man anymore. I don't trust him. He's a cheater. I'll never fight him again. But he did the opposite. He did the opposite. He said, I'm coming for blood. I'm coming for that revenge. I ain't going to let you walk away from this. I'm coming for you. Right? He didn't have to take that third fight. And it turned out to be that Tyson Fury did everything in his power to try to get out of that third fight. And if you don't respect Deontay for that, it's like people, it really pisses me off. If you thought the first fight was a good result, it was a draw, fine, whatever. I don't agree with you, but fine. But then the second fight, everybody's like, oh, he destroyed him. He destroyed him. But think about it this way. If you agree that you got to take it to the champ to beat the champ, then you got to say that first fight warrants a third fight regardless of what happens in the second fight. But when Deontay Wilder lost the second fight, y'all up here saying, like, oh, we don't need to see no third fight. Deontay got destroyed. Deontay got destroyed. We don't need to see no third fight. What? The first fight officially was a draw. But yet, Deontay was the champion. Deontay dropped a man in the 12th round. And not only did he drop him, the dude's eyes rolled in the back of his head. Now, if you want to clap your hands and pat Tyson Fury on the back because he got up, fine. That's what he's supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do as a fighter. But you can't dispute the fact that many other referees see a fighter get his head bounce off the canvas like that and his eyes roll in the back of his head. They call that shit. So what the fuck would you guys say if Tyson Fury got knocked out? If Jack Reese waved it off? Then you would have no choice to accept that third fight, despite whatever happens in the second fight. Because in the first fight, Tyson Fury got knocked out. That's what pisses me off more than anything else. More than anything else. More than like going back and forth about were the allegations justified or not. Whatever. Right? That's a matter of debate, and we're never gonna agree on that shit anyways. We're never gonna agree. But let's keep it boxing for a moment. Why is it okay, right, for you to get so upset when your fighter, and I'm not talking about Tyson Fury, I'm talking about any favorite fighter of yours, goes into a match where it was a draw or he lost a close decision, but you felt like the guy that he lost to didn't take it to the champ. He didn't take it from the champion, which we know throughout boxing history, that's the way it's supposed to be. I got the belts. You got to come either knock me out, drop me multiple times, or outclass me, outpoint me, and take it. Did he drop Deontay in the first fight? No. Did he knock out Deontay Wilder in the first fight? No. Did he completely outclass Deontay Wilder to the point where we felt like Deontay Wilder didn't even belong in that ring? No. So why is it okay for you, and I've heard channels out here, when I speak of this, this is things that I've heard out here on these YouTube streets. And yes, I get pissed off about this because I'm sick of it. Tim Nick lighted a fire. That he wanted Divine Sense to get a little fire back. He misses the old Divine Sense. Well, you got it back again, Tim. Because I've heard it out here in these YouTube streets. When your favorite fighter, who's a champ, fights a guy, and then it's a draw or he loses, you all get so upset. Man, my fighter's the champ. He's the champ, man. You got to take it to the champ. Oh, but when Deontay Wilder fans come and support their favorite fighter and saying Tyson's got to take it from the champ, then, oh, you guys are crybabies. Accept the loss. All I ask is consistency. That's it. We don't got to agree. We don't have, my favorite fighter doesn't have to be your favorite fighter. You don't have to agree with the allegations. You don't have to get into, you don't want to agree to that. You like, nah, man, Wilder's crazy. Okay. But all I'm asking is some consistency. Just like we all watched the Charlo Castaño fight, right? That's a perfect example. I was going for Charlo. I thought Charlo was going to win. But when the fight was over, I was like, I don't think Charlo won that shit. You know why? Because Castaño took it to his ass. He was taking it to the champ. Fury didn't do nothing in that first fight to take it to Deontay Wilder. Matter of fact, Deontay Wilder was pressing the fight. Deontay Wilder, as a champion, was taking it to the contender. So, all it is consistency. just like now, right? Uysk is the champion now. He got the belts now. So what does that mean for Joshua? He's got to take it to Uysk now. None of this robotic, let me stay back, little jab, 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 try to throw the big right hand. Now, you better walk his ass down. You better beat him up, use that 6'6", 240 frame, and beat up that cruiserweight. And prove to everybody that was a fluke. I wasn't on my game. Uysk came in. He shocked me, but this is the real Joshua. You got to prove it because now you got to take it to the champ because the man took your belts away from you. I mean, even Deontay Wilder knew in the third fight that I'm no longer the champ. Tyson's the champ now. I got to take it to him. And he did. But unfortunately, wasn't a good game plan. He got burned out and then he got stopped. But he was still able to knock down Tyson Fury twice. That's how you take it to the champ. And I don't agree with Deontay Wilder's game plan in that fight at all. But it is what it is, and that's exactly what happened. Champ Life Boxing, what's good? Jeffrey H. Lopez. K-Rod, I apologize, man. Sometimes I get heated.
No, it's all good. This is your show, so.
Tim's been waiting. He's been waiting for me to get that fire back. I haven't been too infuriated in a while. So we got it, Tim. Shit. Look, I pay attention. I'm sure you do too, K-Rod, on your channel. I pay attention, man. All my videos. I see what people say. I see the debates. A lot of times I just leave it, right? It's like people get into arguments in the comment section, whatever. It's boxing talk, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I see where Tim's coming from it, right? And I may not agree with Tim on every little detail, but Tim and I definitely agree on most of it. And so I see what Tim sees, right? It's a lot of like, oh, Devon, what are you crying about? Deontay lost 3 times. What? See, that's something that I can't accept. If you want to say he won the second and third fight without getting into the conversation of allegations and Deontay possibly being poisoned, fine. I'm at the point where it's futile at this point, fine. But to say that he won 3 fights is blatantly disrespectful to Wilder, who was the champion at the time. Who deserved, and he earned the WBC belt. Because he was going through the list of people, and there were certain people, Anthony Joshua, who was the champion at the time, who didn't want to fight him. Oh, but man, Deontay Wilder, he ain't got no damn resume, man. Shit, we knew that he was going to lose to Tyson. He ain't got no resume. He's a one-trick pony. Then why didn't Joshua fight him then?
Yep.
Why didn't Joshua fight him then? And don't tell me none of this bullshit. Oh, well, he didn't want to fight Joshua. He did something that every fighter's been doing since the dawn of time, since there's been videos cameras at fights, which is go in the middle of the ring after you just knocked somebody out and said, Joshua, where are you? I'm coming for you. He said that right after the second Ortiz fight. K-Rod, do you know this guy, Kangaroo Jack?
No.
Backstage?
No.
Kangaroo Jack, what's up?
How are we, fellas? How are we? I see we're talking about the heavyweight division.
Yes, sir.
What's the topic at the moment?
I'm on a rant right now about.
You're on a...
Yeah, I'm on a rant right now about people discrediting Deontay Wilder. But we've been talking a lot about the heavyweight.
I'd agree with that statement. I actually had a debate with someone a couple of weeks ago on here about people completely, calling that Wilder should retire, and he got absolutely smashed and everything else. There's no doubt he got beaten convincingly, but to discredit him and show him the disrespect as a guy that held the titles for 6-7 years, defended the WBC for 11 times. He's got to deserve the respect.
Yeah, and like I just said on my stream, I don't know if you caught it, but for me, it's just consistency. That's all it is. If you want to say Fury won the trilogy and you think he was a better man, that's fine. I mean, shit. I can't. I'll get into debate about it, but I can't get mad at you for having that opinion. With that being said, we want to highlight the first fight because the first fight is what kicked off the trilogy anyway. An amazing 3 fights, and I couldn't, regardless of the results, the legacies of the two individuals are set forever. And for people that third fight, I thought Wilder brought everything. He was a better fighter in that third fight, a better fighter. I mean, before Fury got rid of him in the later rounds, I thought Wilder was doing really good. But the stamina and the experience in the ring maybe caught up to him, and Fury is a more superior boxer. But I thought he was a better fighter in the third fight. And if that Wilder rocks up against an AJ, I feel like AJ gets knocked out.
Well, that's what I was saying right before you jumped in was people criticized Wilder's resume, and they were saying like, oh, he's not ready for a Tyson Fury. He hasn't fought anybody, this, that, and the third. But it's like he challenged Joshua. He called him out after he knocked out Ortiz in the second fight. He was chasing Joshua. So if Wilder's this one-trick pony who's got no skill, who doesn't deserve to be a heavyweight champion, then why didn't Joshua fight him then?
He's the second. Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, regardless of the results against Fury, he's the second best heavyweight in the world. And I couldn't care what anyone says. I believe he knocks Ruiz's head off. I believe he knocks AJ's head off. Dillian Whyte's, all of them. But unfortunately, literally, and he shouldn't retire. He should come back and go again. Why wouldn't you come back and go again? You could. This is what I'm saying, and it's the peer pressure of individuals around him and the boxing fans. Everyone's quick to fucking destroy him and turn him down and say, "Oh, you're done. You're done. You're going to do damage to yourself medically and everything else." If he's going to do damage to himself, well, then Derek Chizora should have retired fucking 4 years ago. Do you know what I mean? So stick with it.
Yeah, for sure. And I just feel like it's easy and quick to kick a man when he's down, and everybody's like, "Oh, see, Wilder wasn't shit. Fury exposed him. This, that." You know what's funny to me is I have my opinions about Tyson Fury, which I won't get into at this moment. But I'll tell you this: it's funny to me that everybody criticized and made fun of Wilder, and that's what you get for all the allegations, and kicked him while he was down. But it was Tyson Fury himself, whether it was genuine or not, he still said it. He came out and he said, Wilder's the hardest puncher that I've ever been in the ring with, and Wilder deserves respect.
He's the hardest puncher in the history of boxing.
And it's like, if that comes from Fury, who I sometimes find who's a very arrogant person, who doesn't like to give anybody credit very often. And I'm sure that Tyson probably doesn't like Wilder as a person just because of what has happened through the trilogy. So it takes a little bit of, courage and I would say respect to come out and say, hey, the guy nearly knocked me out twice. And I've never been in a position like that.
Yeah, the thing is, brother, as well, if Fury goes on to defeat everybody, the three guys that are before him, Dillian, Uysk, and AJ, if he goes on and defeats all those three, that makes Deontay Wilder look even better. Because that's where I'd be putting my money on at the moment. I actually if Fury's got his head screwed on and he's in the game, I actually can't see anybody beating him.
But that's the thing with Fury, is that you never know what you're going to get. You really don't. Are you going to get a focused, determined Fury? Are you going to get a Fury who? Are you going to go? You get a Fury that goes on a binge, and then says, "Oh shit, the fight's a week away. Let me try." Are you
gonna get a Fury that's gonna box? Are you gonna get a Fury that's gonna play dirty in the fight? Are you gonna get a Fury that's leaning, elbowing? What Fury? Yeah, you got to look at all avenues like that. That's because after looking at a few of his fights and the different styles that he adopts during the fight, that's where I find him above levels of every heavyweight in the world, except maybe Usyk. Is he has the ability and the tools in his kit to adapt to the fight. So if things aren't working, he has a willingness to turn it that way. He's willing to go on the jab. He's willing to lean on you if he's losing. You know, he's got that ability where these other heavyweights don't have that.
Yeah, and I've always said for a long time that Fury's been fighting his whole life, right? And he's fought guys probably smaller than him most of his life because he's just so massive. But I'm sure he's been in there a few times where it's guys his size that punch really hard. And, yeah, I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, I mean, in the third fight especially, when he was dropped twice and got up, and he knew that he was in deep waters. And there was a couple of things that benefited him. One was Wilder, I think he emptied the tank on trying to finish him.
In the first 2 rounds, he emptied the tank, mate.
And the thing about it is that we know now that he broke his hand when he dropped Fury the first time in the third fight. He broke his hand. So he didn't have the right hand to follow up, and he was gassed. But Fury, he knew that no matter what happens, Wilder is still a live dog. It's kind of like an injured dog that's kind of fighting for its life, right? If you take your eye, and that's why he got dropped. Fury got dropped because he saw Wilder getting tired, and he just walked forward and he just landed it. He just walked right into a big right hand.
I don't know. I didn't know I'd say this, or I actually didn't think this was even possible for a guy of Fury's size and his physique. But when Fury gets knocked down, he seems to get better. When he gets knocked, if you look at all his fights over the last 9 years, when he gets dropped and he gets back up, he seems to become the aggressor and actually start to dominate.
He's got the gypsy magic, I guess.
You could he got hit with anyone that gets hit that way he got hit from Wilder have been sparked out cold.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. But he gets back up and then puts it on him.
That's why I say, how on God's green earth do you expect Joshua to get hit with a shot like that? I mean, that was straight on the cranium, and his whole body shook. Fury did.
Literally, his whole body and his ankles probably cracked.
And it's insane to think that people, I don't care if Joshua's out boxing Wilder for 4 or 5 rounds. All it takes is one shot. And, let's not forget that Wilder's not just a big, strong, burly guy who just throws, he's got fast twitch muscles. He gets on you quick.
Mm-hmm. And AJ's pretty robotic, so it's stiff.
Very stiff. Defense is mediocre at best. We saw his defense when he's getting pieced up by Usyk. And he got pieced up by Ruiz. There would be.
I don't know if you would agree with this statement or you disagree. You let me know. There'd be an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world right now as we speak if Anthony Joshua stops slipping on banana pills and Eddie Hearn stops giving him rematch clauses. He's the one holding up the division. If he didn't lose those 2 fights, we would have an undisputed champion. Usyk wouldn't be in the question.
That's a fair point to make. I mean, yeah, I always said that Joshua and Wilder should have happened like 3 or 4 years ago, before the Tyson Fury trilogy even started.
Before he even came back. Before Fury even came back, bro.
Exactly. But everybody kept clamoring, especially in the UK, for Joshua Fury. Joshua Fury. That's the fight we want to make, you know. And they were, we're going to go to Saudi. We're going to make this big UK heavyweight matchup. And I'm like...
Well, it's funny you say that, actually. Sorry, it's funny you say that. I actually think Eddie Hearn is the problem here, because that was the fight that needed to be made. They were the two top dogs, Wilder and AJ. That
Correct.
Needed to be made. So why wasn't that fucking made? Because AJ was too busy fighting everyone.
Fury was snorting coke.
And drinking piss and eating KFC.
Yeah. What did he get up to? Like 350 pounds or some shit.
360, 370, which is ridiculously big.
Insane, right? So it's like he's not even in the mix, but somehow Eddie Hearn was able to continue to say, well, Fury's not like, you know, he's just having some problems, but he'll be back. That's the fight that we want, is Fury Joshua. And you could be right. It could have been a little bit of Joshua being like, I don't know if I want to deal with Wilder, maybe, but it's more probably Eddie Hearn saying, nah, we don't want any part of Deontay, right? That's bad for your career.
Well,
they took Ruiz thinking that they judged a book by its cover. Let's be honest.
Amen.
They judged the book by its cover, and they thought Andy Ruiz was going to be a walkover, and Andy Ruiz came in there and he beat his ass. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Well, and Eddie Hearn's like, shit, we got to get this rematch, because that wasn't good for us. And they probably told him, hey, this rematch, you better just box. You better keep moving, right? And he did, but Andy Ruiz also came in after celebrating from being the first heavyweight or Mexican heavyweight champion of all time, and was clearly out of shape and sluggish and slow, and was getting hit with everything. He wasn't the Andy Ruiz that we saw in the first fight, and that's on Andy Ruiz. But my point is that, you know, it turned, like you said, it turned into Joshua's favor, but he kept slipping on these banana peels, as you pointed out. And then in Usyk, they tried to promote this idea that Usyk's a cruiserweight. He's too small. He ain't got no power. And he got outboxed again. Not once, but twice.
He arguably lost every round against Usyk.
Yeah, you can make the argument. I don't remember how I scored it. I think I had it like maybe 8-4 or 7-3 or something like that.
I had an 8-4, but the four rounds I gave Joshua could have gone either way.
He was on his way to get stopped.
Deontay Wilder, right, needs to... I got a feeling Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora will be the next fight that's made. I got a funny feeling. Because that will sell quite well if it's in the UK. And obviously people want to see Wilder back. I want to see Wilder back. Do you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I was saying earlier before you jumped on that, I mean, if he says that I've done enough in the sport and I'm going to spend time with my family and retire, I'm going to respect that, because nobody can take away the fact that he's arguably, and if not, the most devastating heavyweight puncher of all time. And it doesn't matter about the 2 losses to Fury. That fact will never change. But if he says I'm coming back, am I going to be excited? Absolutely. And I don't think there's any other fight out there, in my opinion. Like right now, being realistic, for me, it's Andy Ruiz. Because there's really nobody else that makes too much sense that will bring in money that you can sell, because he's not going to fight Usyk. He's engaged with Joshua. He's not going to fight Fury for the 4th time, probably ever, but certainly not now, because he's engaged with Dillian Whyte. So
there's two fights.
There's two fights. For me, it's Ruiz. Let me just finish my. Ruiz hasn't been in the ring in a while, and he's probably he's been waiting for his chance, and he is a guy who has beaten Joshua. He is a guy who was a champion, who has shown that he has skills, and the most marketable part of it is that he's never been stopped. Andrew Ruiz has never been stopped. And Deontay, if anybody's in the division that has the ability to stop him, would be Deontay Wilder. So that's how I think that, and that fight works for both of them very well. If Andrew Ruiz beats up or stops Wilder, he kind of gets slingshot back into conversation of beating
straight
Deontay.
back into the mix.
100%. If Deontay stops Ruiz, who hasn't been stopped, he also gets slingshot back into the mix. So it's a win-win.
Don't
That's
be
why it has to
surprised.
be Andrew Ruiz.
Don't be surprised if down the line. I mean, like you just said, brother. If that fight is made, I think Andy Ruiz versus Deontay Wilder in Vegas is a fucking brilliant fight. But I could also see Wilder taking Otto Wallin or something. I could see something along those lines as a comeback fight potentially. Again, if you see whoever's going to get slingshot back into the mix, don't be surprised if you see a Deontay Wilder Fury fourth fight in the UK. Do you see what I'm saying? If you actually look at it like that, who's going to slingshot who? Ruiz or Wilder?
Here's my thing, Kangaroo Jack, is that Wilder ain't got much time, right? So it's a matter. He's been at the pinnacle of the sport before. He's been on the top. And it's like, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, you want to see him come back and get a couple, I don't want to say tune-up fights, but, some notable fighters, but maybe not the top 10 or maybe not the top 8 and get back into a rhythm. But the dude, he's 36. So if he was 30, 31, 32, I'd say, yeah, go for it. Get a couple fights under your belt. But he don't got no time. If he's ready, he's got to be ready, and he's got to come in and he's got to fight someone like Andy Ruiz that has a name that you can sell, that you can market. I can't see them marketing Wallin. I just don't and it's not about money, I guess. I mean, but if you're Wilder, I mean, you might as well kill two birds with one stone. So it looks like he dropped out, but that's my opinion on it. I mean, if you're going to come back, and fight somebody like Andrew Ruiz. He doesn't have time to be hopscotching around a couple, top 15 heavyweights. And then, you know what I mean? It's just, it's just doesn't make sense to me. I just can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah,
Arturo, I see you, bro. What's good, man? DP Rock, I see you. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see you, man. TS Boxing, what's good? So, for me, I have it up here on the screen. Right now, Ruiz is number 6. He's not going to fight Ortiz. He's beat him twice. I guess he can fight Joseph Parker, but, I mean, I just think that the fight that you can sell, the fight that you can market, and Andy Ruiz being a Mexican heavyweight, you're going to get the Mexican, well, that's the fight
Why can't you sell see, this is what I say. Why can't you can sell Derek Chisora Wilder?
Oh.
I don't think so.
No, Derek Chisora is a fucking bum.
Yeah, but you could sell that because he's going to come to fight and he's got a big supporter base.
Deontay Wilder will not fight him.
I agree.
Well, that's what's been talked about at the moment. But it's all talk. It's all smoke at the moment. But like IFL, people on IFL.
Okay, but did that come from Deontay Wilder's team?
I haven't heard anything from Wilder's team, no.
Okay, so Deontay Wilder is not going to fight him.
Time will tell. I would love to see that fight myself, but
Deontay Wilder will not fight him.
He's going to have to fight someone else.
I don't think so either.
He's not.
Wasn't there a rumor?
Get it through your head. He's not going to fight him.
We'll see.
Okay, continue being biased.
No one's being biased here, brother.
No,
Kangaroo Jack. So I
you're
mean,
being biased.
To who?
what is he being biased
Yourself.
about? K-Rod.
I mean, to have this really weird backwards philosophy to think Deontay Wilder is going to fight basically a world beater and Derek Chisora does not sell well to the Black American public and to the British public that would ever go to see a fight in the UK of Deontay Wilder knocking out Derek Chisora cold for what price? Zero. So if I'm a fan of Deontay Wilder, I want to see Deontay Wilder in the toughest fight possible. And I think, if anything, the average consumer would want Deontay Wilder in a good fight, like a Andy Ruiz or maybe I don't know, like somebody
Joseph
of
Parker.
somebody of caliber that sells to the buyer public. Because putting somebody like Derek Chisora in there with Deontay Wilder, that does not level out to the consumer market. Because if I paid good money to go see that fight in the UK just to see Wilder smoke him, I would be like, okay, that's a good win. But at the end of the day, did that really value, like my time and effort just to go all the way out there just to go see him? No.
It's a comeback fight, dude.
But to the fans,
it's to get him. Regardless of what the fans think, they never listen to the fans, do they?
Okay.
So you're talking about
dude,
something we always wanted.
Dude, I can tell that you don't watch boxing, but I'm just gonna keep it real that Deontay Wilder would never face a guy like Derek Chisora. He's never fought anybody to Deontay Wilder's competition, and Deontay Wilder would never fight a guy like him ever, never in his life.
I don't think you can sell it. It's hard for me to
won't sell
wrap
it.
my head. I don't think you
Derek
can
Chisora,
sell. I mean,
he's a fucking bum.
It's Deontay Wilder's on the card. You're gonna sell something. I mean, anytime. Who doesn't matter who he fights, but like I don't want to see that fight personally.
Same here.
It's like
Joseph. Well, how are you gonna get Andy Ruiz versus Wilder if I think Joseph Parker versus Ruiz will happen before that happens?
Joseph Parker hasn't done anything.
Well, that might be possible, but Andy Ruiz is available. Deontay Wilder is available, assuming that he doesn't retire. And both American fighters. You got the Mexican-American fan base. You got the American fan base. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's like that's a guaranteed easy fight to sell. And like I said, man, Andy Ruiz has never been stopped. And what does Wilder do? He stops people.
Cracks people's faces too.
Well, you need Wilder back because American heavyweights at the moment there's no one there. It's an empty box.
So Davey Anderson, he's not the next big heavyweight.
Oh, you got Jared Anderson, you got Sanchez, you've got your
Sanchez is Cuban, dude.
Yeah, but he's based in America, isn't he?
He's Cuban.
He's based in America.
He's Cuban.
Is he based in America?
He's Cuban.
He trains in America.
That doesn't
mean
anything.
Tyson Fury's from the UK, but he was based in America for about 2 years.
He can't sell in the fucking UK, you idiot. He can't
sell.
Not true.
Not true.
He can't sell.
Where are you getting that from?
He can't sell.
He can't sell. He hasn't fought there since 2017.
Okay, but how many tickets has Fury sold in the UK?
Brother, he hasn't fought there since 2017.
In the UK, answer my question.
Well, he sold about, I think when he fought Surfer Fury and what's that other guy's name? Pianetta or something. I think he was fighting in a stadium and, there was about 15,000 there.
Okay, but at what price?
I don't fucking know. I don't live in the UK.
Oh, okay. So you don't know. Thank you. You just
do you know what price they were then?
I'm pretty sure the prices are way cheaper compared to the US. America sells way better than the UK because the UK sucks in boxing.
Not at the moment. Not at the moment.
It does.
Not
America
at the moment.
Oh
no,
better.
Not at the moment.
Oh really?
Because the UK at the moment.
Here we go.
I can name you 3 fights that actually sold out at a high price where everybody goes to that fight. I can tell you 3 fights off the top of my head. Do you want
at the moment the heavyweights are flying the flag in the UK? I'm telling you right. The heavyweights at the moment are flying the flag in the UK.
Okay, so you're gonna deflect and try to basically switch the goalposts to talk about something else.
You said there's boxing shit in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
I disagree.
Hold on. But who do you have though in the heavyweight division other than Tyson Fury? You have Tyson Fury. Joshua got smacked. Usyk is not from the UK. He's got 3. He's got 3 of the 5 belts. Usyk does.
Yeah, they probably won't be. They won't be back anytime soon to the UK. No doubt about that. Because AJ will fucking get rolled.
He'll get robbed.
He'll get rolled. Rolled.
Oh, rolled. Okay. Rolled. So I just don't see that he I'm not. I mean, we can get into a debate, America versus UK. It's a classic debate when it comes to boxing. But
I just have an opinion on. I couldn't give a shit. I'm from Australia, so
yeah.
I can tell by your accent, but it seems like you're. I can tell from your accent you're from Australia, but I'm assuming that you're obviously a Tyson Fury fan. Yes.
I only watch the heavyweights, bro. I don't watch any other division.
Well, then how can you say that the UK has like the best boxers in boxing?
Thank you.
Heavyweight division is one division.
At the moment, I think the UK are flying themselves quite well.
But you only watch heavyweights.
Compared to other years.
Okay, sure, but you're confusing me because
like with the exposure they're getting with the TV rights, Eddie Hearn, it seems like they've got a lot of control at the moment. Well, that's
because Canelo fights fucking UK fighters all the time. Without Canelo, nobody would know who these UK fighters are, like Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Smith and these other guys.
Josh Taylor and all that. Yeah, you look.
Jack Petrell.
I like Josh Taylor. And there's a few British boxers that I don't mind, but it's a slippery slope if you want to say that the UK is ruling boxing when, quite frankly, if you only watch the heavyweights, all you got is Tyson Fury.
Well, theoretically, we only got Tyson Fury at the moment, but they've only got Tyson Fury, but the one that's flying the flag when it comes to, like dominating everybody. And not fucking himself over with losing fights that he shouldn't lose.
You're talking about Tyson Fury?
Correct.
Okay.
Who has
a better... Hold on. Well, 2 UK fighters, right? Let's do it this way. Who has a better resume, Joshua or Fury?
Joshua.
Okay, then. So when it comes to dominating... Yeah. He has a way better resume. So what do you mean by domination? Because what? He hasn't lost? Well, he was tied up in a trilogy fight with Wilder, right?
Tied up, yeah. He hasn't lost. He's undefeated. He is a lineal champion. He arguably owns all the belts. He run the Ring magazine twice. He's the number one.
Own all the belts? How?
He arguably owns all the belts, 100%.
How?
Because he never lost those belts that Uysk has.
The guy retired and went on a coke binge.
If you beat me for those belts, right, and I got them stripped from me because I actually got stripped from Fury because of coke and everything else. I don't think he retired; they got stripped, but that's just what the public like to think. He was doing drugs and everything else, and I admit that. Yeah, he got stripped of his titles.
I think being stripped is worse than retiring.
Yeah, but it's like it's a moral
thing.
A
shameful, a most shameful thing that can happen to you as a prize fighter, an elite fighter who just, by the way, beat the almighty Klitschko. It's like the most devastating thing that you can do. And let's be honest here, Kangaroo Jack. It was Deontay Wilder who reached a hand and brought him back into the stardom. Oh,
definitely. He told him to get back. He from memory, I think Wilder threw a video out and said, "Come out of retirement, fat boy," or whatever. And then he came back.
And without Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury would be back in the UK snorting coke probably.
Or dead.
Or dead, yeah, one of those two. But
I mean,
look,
I'm not gonna man. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that what he did to recover and come back to the sport is something that you can't shake his hand for, like whatever. But let's call it what it is. The dude just he was at let me put it to you this way, yeah. When he beat Klitschko, I didn't have any problem with Tyson Fury. I didn't know who he was very much, and to be honest with you, I don't watch UK fighters that often. But when he beat Klitschko, I was like, oh, okay, shit. Like, all right, let's see what he does. The public was watching. The public was paying attention then because he beat Klitschko. Then he's like, oh, I'm the champ now. Let me, put my life on the line and embarrass myself. And that's what he did. And then he came back and fought a couple tomato cans. And then it was Deontay Wilder who said, I got you. Right? Because Joshua didn't want to fight Wilder. Nobody wanted to fight Wilder. And Fury, quite honestly, didn't have much of a choice to fight Wilder because he couldn't fight in the UK. He couldn't get the Joshua fight. Who else was there for him to fight? It was Wilder. And Wilder was the moneymaker, and the fight sold brilliantly, and we had a trilogy.
The fight,
but I just don't understand.
They both set their legacy for the rest of their lives with that trilogy. That's for sure.
Okay, sure, but I don't understand how you can say that he arguably owns all the belts. He had them, and he got stripped.
Did he lose the belts in the ring?
It doesn't. You dishonorably got stripped.
Yeah, but if
he retired honorably and amicably and said, I've done enough in the sport at the top of my game, then I can say, all right, we can have a conversation because fighters do that all the time. Mayweather did that all the time. Mayweather left, he's on top of the game, then he came back, whatever. But to get stripped from your titles because you are not representing yourself as a champion, you don't get credit for that. You deservedly get stripped of your titles. So let's keep it 100 here. First off, he's got to get past Dillian Whyte, which
will be a walk in the park. It'll be a walk in the park.
Yeah, he should. But then you got a guy over there from the Ukraine who's nothing to sneeze at, and I see him whooping AJ's ass even worse than he did the first time.
Going to be a disaster. That'll be an absolute domination by Usyk unless somehow AJ decides to act like a 6'7" giant and really put it on him, but I can't see that happening.
I don't either. And I'm a boxing fan, right? The one thing that I want most out of any division is undisputed. That's what every boxing fan should want. So with that being said,
when was it? 1999. The last undisputed heavyweight title fight, yeah.
So it's been, 2 decades plus?
I wasn't even born, so.
So it's time, right? It's time for an undisputed heavyweight. So basically, if it's Fury and Usyk, then it is what it is. I want to see who's the best. But right now, Fury doesn't have really he's a top 3 heavyweight. I won't dispute that. But to say he's the best and he should, he arguably owns all the belts, that is horseshit. He's got to reestablish himself and prove to the public and literally gain the honor back. Because in the UK, they may lift him up on a pedestal, but they sure as hell don't do it in the States. And who's a bigger consumer? Who has more fans? I mean, just geographically speaking and population speaking, it's not even a debate.
Well,
so you got to earn that respect back.
Oh, definitely. And let me tell you, besides the Klitschko and Wilder fights, Dillian Whyte's probably the 3rd best on his resume if this fight goes ahead. Now, that's just being 100, like you're saying. You could probably maybe potentially throw Steve Cunningham in there years ago, but these Klitschko, Wilder, and Dillian Whyte fight will be his best 3 fights. So on the resume side of things, I agree with you. But the problem you're going to have and everyone else is going to have on YouTube and everyone else I've listened to and watched, do not be surprised if Fury wipes a division. That's all I have to say. Don't be surprised.
Okay, well, we can speak theoreticals all day long. I mean, that's what boxing is. It's subjective.
Would you bet against it?
Well, if it turns out to be Tyson and Usyk for an undisputed heavyweight title match, I ain't betting in that fight. That fight's just too the odds don't look good enough to me to bet for that personally.
Oh, and it's a chess match. It's a 50-50 fight. That's going to be one of the most boring fights ever in the history of the heavyweight division. But it's for undisputed. So,
yeah, I mean, so would I bet against it? No, because I don't want to, just because of what it is.
I actually don't know who would win that fight. Usyk versus Fury.
Well,
Because
I don't like the hopscotch ahead of what is in front of us, and Fury's got
It's going to happen.
And Usyk's got Joshua, and those are the prediction videos that will come out on my channel at least before I even get into a discussion of Fury and Usyk. I might talk about it at the barbershop, but I'm not going to get into it here because it's all what ifs and I hope, right? It's like I hope Deontay Wilder comes back, but I don't know if he's going to come back, so I'm not going to really talk about it that much other than I hope he comes back. So I'm a little bit hit sideways, to be honest with you, and I'm fine. Like, I'm one of the most tolerant YouTube channels out here who allows people to come on here and say what they want to say respectfully. But my patience and my leniency has limits. When people come in here and say that a fighter like Tyson Fury should arguably, own all the belts, like that's just damn near blasphemy, in my opinion, considering on what he's done. And he gets credit for the Wilder wins. He gets credit for the trilogy wins. But his resume is not that good. I mean, he's got Klitschko and he's got Wilder. I mean, that's pretty much it. And so he's got to go in there. He's got to beat Whyte. He's got to beat Usyk. And, then I'll say, okay, Jack, this guy is pretty damn good. Like, he's the best, I don't have a problem with that. But, Tyson Fury is too unpredictable. Like, even if I'm a Tyson Fury fan, I will be sitting on the edge of my seat biting my fingernails because this guy is so unpredictable in what he does.
Don't you worry. I am biting my fucking fingernails, brother. Because do you know why I'm biting my fingernails? Because I actually hope, I can't wait for this Dillian Whyte fight. But being a Fury fan, I'm sitting here fucking watching all these interviews and everything else. I still have doubts that the Dillian Whyte fight's going to happen because I don't know what Tyson Fury's going to do on a daily day. Everything else on what he does on a daily. Yeah. Who's going to pull out the fight? Is someone going to pull out the fight, or what's going to happen? Is there going to be an injury, or and it's going to fucking put the undisputed back? I'm fucking over it. You know what I mean? Just get in there, smash Dillian Whyte's face in, and then completely manhandle Usyk. Simple.
Yeah, that's what he should do. But will it happen is another story. I mean, right now in the heavyweight division, it's the window's getting smaller and smaller and smaller when it comes to champions, and all of these champions being 32 plus years old. There's not much time. So it's all going to come down to who wants it, who really wants to show that they're the best.
The best of this era.
And that means discipline. That means, taking this shit seriously. And, Tyson Fury's on record saying that the belts don't mean nothing to him. And neither does legacy. He said that. He said, everybody knows I'm the best, and therefore...
Oh, yeah, he definitely said that. He couldn't care. Just like Mike Tyson said, the belts mean fuck all to him.
But because of that mentality, makes me worried that he will never fight for undisputed. because of that mentality. Lennox Lewis was the opposite. Lennox Lewis wanted to prove that he was the best, and he wanted to collect all of the belts. And that's why I have a lot of respect for Lennox Lewis. Not my favorite heavyweight, but I have a lot of respect for him. And that's the type of heavyweights that we need. We need people in there that want to prove. And I think Deontay Wilder is of that pedigree. Unfortunately, he came up short by losing to Fury. But he was really that guy
We
that
don't know
wanted
what Fury.
to beat everybody.
Yeah, but we don't know what Fury's thinking in his own mind. I think it's a bit unfair to completely just rule out that he doesn't care or that he's thinking. Even he
I'm not saying
contradicts
that
what
he
he says.
doesn't care. I'm not saying that I know that he doesn't care. I'm saying that's what he has said, and I'm saying his track record shows that at times he does not care.
He contradicts himself a lot. He says one thing and then the next week he comes out another. So we can't believe what he says. And I think that's probably the art of him being unpredictable, especially if you're going up against him. Because what sort of Fury are you going to get?
Well, that's Dillian Whyte's job to figure out.
Well, he's got to find out, isn't he? In early April or late April or whatever.
And we're going to see. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and think that Dillian Whyte's going to win the fight. I know that there are other YouTube channels out here that think that Dillian Whyte has been overlooked and he's more talented than people give him credit for, and so on and so forth. Okay. I mean, we'll see. But I'm smart enough to know, and I've been around boxing and talking about boxing for the better part of 15 years, to know that if Fury is in shape and taking it serious, he's very difficult to beat. I mean, I don't have to like the man to admit that. But I am not going to put money on that because he is very inconsistent and contradicts himself, to your point, all the time. And so I'm like, well, when it comes to Tyson Fury, it's like, I'll wait and see. I don't hold my breath.
You don't hold your breath on anything.
I made the point in here earlier. I'm not sure if you heard, but we also have to take into consideration that Fury has taken damage against Wilder. He was dropped, 3 times in 3 fights or whatever it was, and he's taken other big shots that he didn't go down from, but it definitely accumulated damage. Nobody has been in the ring as many rounds against Wilder than what Tyson Fury has. The most devastating puncher in the division.
Yeah, anyone that takes punches from the way that he took punches against Wilder, I mean, usually people get KO'd and have gone to sleep with those punches.
A total of what? They fought 12 rounds and then 9 rounds and then like 5 rounds. So like damn near 30 rounds.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of rounds to be in the ring against the most devastating puncher in the division. So to me, you can't just turn a blind eye to that.
Yeah, but how many? Yeah, but those knockdowns that Wilder landed. What was it? In the third fight, Vic Fury went down 3 or 4 times.
Fury went down
twice. Yeah, twice. Early and then one in the middle. Yeah, he went down twice, and then the first fight
back to back. He got knocked down back to back. He got knocked down. He got up, and then he got dropped again, and then he got up.
Yeah, definitely. But in a full fight, the full those 30 rounds that Wilder Fury fought, how many clean punches would have Wilder landed? Only the knockdowns?
No, I mean even in the second fight,
clean punches where they do consistent damage.
Go back and watch the fights, brother. Go back.
Maybe when Fury ducks his head or swings back, which takes a lot of power off the punches.
And Jack, I don't give a rat's ass if it was on the top of the head, back of the head, front of the head, on the chin, in the stomach, on the chest. You taking damage. That's the whole point. I don't care if he rolled the punch. I don't care if he rolled the punch and got hit on top of the head. He's getting hit in the skull by the most powerful puncher in the division. So it's either one, he's going to come out and I personally am leaning towards he's going to come and box because of the damage that he's taken. And Dillian Whyte is not a soft puncher. The dude can crack. Not
His
Deontay Wilder crack.
His left hook,
But he can
his
crack.
left hook is fucking lethal.
Yeah. So if I'm Fury, for him, it's a mandatory match that the WBC is mandating. So in his mind, he's thinking, there's no point of going toe to toe with this guy. I'm going to go in, I'm going to box his head off for 12 rounds, and then wait to see what happens with Usyk and Joshua. That's what I would lean towards. Could he walk forward like he did against Wilder? He could.
Definitely.
But Dillian Whyte is a better fighter on the inside than what Wilder is. Wilder fights from range.
Yeah, body snatcher. He likes the body. No one goes to Fury's body. He's always there to be hit on the body. We've seen earlier in that third fight, if you go to Fury's body, it really does slow him down a little bit, and it opens up avenues up the top.
Right.
So, you've got to look at it.
My problem is if he stays with Crunk's gym, which is a very aggressive, come forward, fight on the front foot style. Is he going to stay with Crunk's, who's basically given him 2 victories against Wilder? It's hard to walk away from that, but Wilder does have a track record of just dropping trainers.
Yeah,
He's done it several times.
But when you say, Kronk gave, Fury gave him the style to beat Wilder the 2 fights and all that. Fury has a boxing IQ to identify himself. He's been fighting for such a long time. He can identify that he may need to actually outbox Dillian Whyte.
Okay. So why did he bring in Sugar Hill then?
To lay down on his punches. Simple.
What?
To sit down on his punches.
Tyson Fury has no power at all.
But I agree with you. He has no power, but he's brought Kronk in to actually try and bring some sort of power in the way he fights.
Can you teach power to somebody?
So you're telling me a 6'9" giant, he has no power?
Teach power to somebody. Answer my question.
He has power.
Can
He
you
has power.
teach power to somebody? Can you teach power to somebody? Please answer.
Depending on the training.
No, you can't.
Can you train a chin?
No.
Definitely not.
Of course you can.
So
Of course you can. And power is you're God gifted with a chin and punch resistance, and you're God gifted with power.
yeah.
He's definitely pillow fist, but he can throw combinations that could finish a guy. Definitely.
Well, because he's 6'9", 270 pounds. It's a cumulative.
Yeah, it's a
He doesn't
cumulative.
have one punch power.
It's not
He doesn't even
natural.
have a 2 or 3 punch combination power. He stopped Deontay Wilder because Deontay Wilder was gassed and was affected by a cumulative damage throughout the fight.
Yeah, he really. Wilder's got stamina problems.
You don't teach Kano Loco Sports, King of the Dead was good. You don't teach power, bro. Either you have it or not. Yeah, you can teach like proper punching technique on how to turn your punches and get your hips behind it and make the power that you were gifted a bit more effective. But you don't teach raw power. You don't teach raw power. Either you have it or you don't. Nobody taught George Foreman how to punch. He just punched.
Yeah.
Period. And there are certain fighters out there that just like have a chin. Like Arturo Gatti had a chin made of granite. Nobody taught him that. You see Amir Khan doing neck exercises more than he does leg exercises, and he gets knocked out cold all the time.
You're doing the best you can to try and find mistakes in Fury. I know exactly what's going on here, but I'll say this to you: is you'll see the end outcome of all this, of all the heavyweight divisions and who fights each other. All right.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
You will see the end result, and again, you'll realize that Fury is the #1 heavyweight in the world.
Well,
Very
then
quickly.
let it be. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here
You need
and
to
say,
let it be.
like,
I think you probably need to let it be, Because you're trying to find mistakes and pick out different avenues where you think Fury's going wrong, questioning his heart or questioning does he want to be this? Does he want to do this?
I've never questioned his heart.
Does he want to go to legacy? Does he want to go to legacy?
Heart issues.
Does he want to go for legacy or does he want to care about himself?
Are you serious right now, bro? We were having a very good discussion, and now you're just being silly. What are you talking about? I've never questioned the man's heart. When the man gets in the ring, he's got tons of heart. But when he's out of the ring, he does. When he's out of the ring, he's inconsistent and he's fucking like snorting coke. How was that heart?
Yeah, that was before he's changed his life. So.
Pussy.
So an individual can't change his life. Is that what you're saying?
No, they totally and absolutely can. But it's like if I got a crackhead. Hold on. If I got a crackhead that lives down the street. No, but for real, if I have a crackhead that lives down the street, been coming knocking on my door, asking me to give him money or give him some crack, and he's been doing it, and then all of a sudden I see him wearing a suit and tie, getting ready to go to work, and I go, "Oh, bro, what's good?" He's, "Oh, I'm changing my life." I'm gonna say, "Great, glad to see it. You've changed your life. I hope the best for you." But is it gonna be in the back of my mind that coke is gonna or that crack is gonna call back for him, and I'm always gonna have a watchful eye to see if he's gonna go back on that crack? Absolutely, I am.
A crackhead doesn't blow up to be 370 pounds, brother.
Okay, then a coke addict.
I got crackheads that live right next to me where I live in the inner suburbs of South Australia, and they weigh like 30 kilos. So
you're missing my point. You're missing my point. My point is that you were on addiction. It was an addiction. He admitted, by the way, I don't know if you caught it, leading up to the third fight against Wilder, he said, if I don't stay active in the gym, I don't trust myself. I will go back and do the bad things that I used to do. That's what he said. So with that being said, he needs to stay active. He needs to take it serious. I want him to take it serious. But it doesn't mean that he won't, because he even said that it's hard for me to stay disciplined. He said that, not me. Go back and watch the 24/7 or whatever, the Showtime, whatever the fuck it was.
He needs to be training.
That's on YouTube.
He needs to be training. If he's not training boxing, he goes off the rails.
Yes. I agree with you.
As soon as he stops doing what his passion is.
I don't know why you take it so personal that all of a sudden, like, oh, you're saying that he doesn't have heart. I never said he didn't have heart. When he's in the ring, he has heart.
Does he want legacy? That's what you're questioning.
He might look, Jack, on a Saturday, he might wake up and say, I want to be the best in the world. On Sunday, he might take a couple drinks of whiskey and say, life is good. I don't give a fuck about boxing. That's the type of guy Tyson Fury is. Do you disagree?
And then Sunday, he may wake up and say, I want to fight Trevor Bryan. So, I agree with you. He might change his mind.
We agree then. I'm glad that we were able to agree. So I don't know why you would think that I would I don't play that game. I don't know what kind of boxing channels that you have out here. Or that you listen to out here. But I don't question a man's heart in boxing. I have too much respect for the sport. Now, this is not like Joshua that we're talking about. That's a guy who I think has lost heart. And I have plenty of evidence to suggest that.
Oh, he don't care. He's got what he wants, the money and everything else. AJ, yeah, he doesn't care about any sort of redemption on anything. He just wants the money.
My thing is this: if you are saying and believing that Fury will inevitably be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, which we haven't seen since 1999, then I'd say, great, good on you. Let's see if it happens. But if you sit up here and expect me to be like, you know what, Jack, I think you're right. No, I'm not going to say that because I'm not as confident as you are.
Well, I don't know who you think will be undisputed. I'd love to know who you think will be, but
if I have to base it off of consistency, and not have to worry about Fury's behavior, which he has displayed in the past, then I would say Usyk will be undisputed.
Alrighty. Well, time will tell, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, I seen Fury on social media saying like, "Hey, Whyte, I'm coming to smash your face." I was happy to see that. I'm like, great, that's the Tyson Fury that needs to show up. Is that Tyson Fury?
Yeah, I think the only downfall I have with Fury at the moment is I like the Kronk style, but I think it's going to be his Achilles heel against a guy like Usyk. I think if he's got to try and be aggressive in that fight,
bro, I appreciate you. Like, I don't know if you're on a motorcycle or what, but you have a lot of like wind blowing into your mic. But I don't, or maybe it's a fan or something. But I feel a little bit frustrated because it seems like you're doing a lot of back and forth. Okay, I mean, you just said that it's not Crunk's gym. It was Tyson Fury's ability to be able to make adjustments. Now you're saying you're worried that his Achilles heel will be the Crunk's gym style, which I had already pointed out that I'm worried for him as well because he can walk into something with that come forward aggressive style against a guy like Dillian Whyte who can fight on the inside. So I think that, or I would suggest this, that if you're a fan of Tyson Fury, no problem. But we have to be as critical, or we have to use our critical thinking skills to the best of our ability, and we have to be as consistent as we possibly can, especially if you're going to come on here and have debates against boxing. Now, there might be some other channels out here where you can just throw out random ideas and people are like, yeah, that's cool. But over here, this is genuine, authentic boxing talk. And as much as I'm a fan of Wilder, I point out flaws in Wilder too. And some people are like, oh, they don't like it because, they're Wilder fans. But I still get the respect because I keep it consistent. And that's what you have to do when you talk boxing, because you can't say on one breath, say one thing and then say the other. I think that you just need to find some consistency in your debating style. And it's not a personal attack, but it's confusing and frustrating for me, a guy who talks about boxing. You can't say, oh, Divine, you said the man don't have heart. I never said that. Oh, Divine, I think the Crunk style is going to be a problem for him. It could be his Achilles heel. When you just said that, no, I think that he made that adjustment on his own, and the only thing that Sugar Hill did was help him sit down on his punches. Those are two completely different things. He, in my opinion, adopted the Crunk style and Sugar Hill specifically because he knew that boxing wasn't going to be enough to make it clear to beat Wilder. And that's exactly why he went and found Sugar Hill, because he knew that he had to create his whole new style.
I'm going to be in two minds about it, because we all know Fury before the Crunks came along as that slick boxer that sits back on the jab. Now, like I said, I hope that he identifies his normal style of fighting, which is, the sweet science of boxing, and he comes out and outboxes Dillian Whyte. I don't want him to be caught due to the Kronk style. So I'm caught in two minds. I hope whatever he decides to do, or whatever him and his team comes up with, hope it's the wrong one.
Well, for his sake, and what I was trying to get at, and somehow we got into some argument, but for his sake, I think he should box. But if he's going to box, then that makes the Crunk style irrelevant, because the Crunk style is a come-forward, aggressive, fighting on the front foot style. Which means he's got to change trainers before. He's changed trainers before, and he's got to do it again.
Get like Ricky Hatton in or something.
I don't know. I mean, maybe go back to the guy that he had in the first fight. I forget his name. Who was like
Ben Davis.
23 years old. I don't know how he's a boxing trainer, but whatever.
Ben Davis.
Yeah. So, you can't tell Sugar Hill, oh, I think I'm going to be on the back foot and work behind the jab, because Sugar Hill's be like, well, that's I don't drink that.
Then maybe Sugar Hill might come in with an idea to get rid of Dillian Whyte quickly. So, the thing is, I just don't want Fury to be knocked out. Like you said, he's taken a lot of damage in the Wilder fight with those.
Brother, I tell you this, brother. I hope Tyson Fury doesn't get knocked out either for your sake. You're looking kind of worried here.
Let's just say when that fight happens in April, I'll be in a pub 14 beers down, so I couldn't give a shit if he does lose.
Well, I don't know, brother. You gotta do something to numb your wits because you seem a little bit worried, and you've said it repeatedly that you hope he doesn't get knocked out. Well, this is boxing, and this is the heavyweight division. I'll just put it that way. So if he comes in careless, let me put it to you this way: if he comes in careless, which I would say he normally doesn't, and he's usually of a sound mind, even if his body's not in shape. He's always a sound mind because he's a veteran. He's been fighting his whole life. But he got knocked down in the third fight against Wilder because he was coming forward recklessly and got caught and was seriously hurt and then got dropped again.
With a shot that I thought was finished. I thought he was finished when he got dropped.
Right. So the point is that he can't come in with that reckless come forward mentality and or style, because if I'm Dillian Whyte, I'm thinking I'm watching Tyson Fury and Wilder 2 and 3, and I'm thinking, shit, if he comes after me like that, I'm gonna work the inside. I'm gonna loop a left hook over the top and follow up with the right uppercut. Right, and I'm just gonna step back and just drive my shots in as he comes forward. Dillian Whyte, a.k.a. the body snatcher, is not Deontay. Deontay likes to set up his shots, particularly his right hand, and explode from distance. Whyte invites inside fighting. He's comfortable there because he doesn't have to chase or cut off the ring or expend too much energy. He's going to invite that. He's going to be like, good. The only thing he has to worry about is that 6'9" frame, but you can get sparring partners, you can prepare for that, and you can practice your body attack, and you can make a good game plan if you're Dillian Whyte. But if Tyson Fury boxes, Dillian Whyte's in trouble, not because like in the fear of him getting knocked out, but he doesn't have the boxing skill to compete with Tyson, which means that Tyson once again has to change from the past year and a half, 2 years of preparing for Wilder, which was come forward, to now developing back into that boxing style. Can he do it? Yeah, because he's always been a boxer anyway. But he's got to change trainers. He's got to change camps. He's got to change mentality. And he's got to be disciplined enough to do it leading up to the fight. Can he do it? That is the question at hand. And if he does it, then I'm sure Kangaroo Jack will be one of the first ones on Divine Defense saying, I told you so. And I'm going to say, congratulations.
If he does, either he does it or he doesn't. But even if he does slip up on a banana peel, which is definitely possible for the champions because AJ seems to be doing it. He'll go again, I hope, or he might just walk away and go do WWE or some sort of prize fight.
Last question for you, Kangaroo Jack, is this. If he gets knocked out by Dillian Whyte, will you continue to say that Tyson Fury is the best in the heavyweight division and he should own all the belts?
No, because he's been defeated.
Great. Glad to hear it. Looks like we finally came to an accord, and I appreciate you. And I don't mean to kick you off, man. No disrespect, but your mic is just going crazy, and it's giving me a fucking headache, man. It's like I'm getting...
You fellas have a good time, right? Good luck with everything.
All right.
Keep safe.
I feel like I'm being attacked by aliens now with this sound.
Thank fucking God.
That was tough. I felt like I've seen his name before. I feel like he was in here once before. back
He's
maybe right after the fight between Wilder Fury, and I was like, but whatever. It made the stream a little bit more interesting, I guess, when you have somebody in here, and it's funny, right? He comes in and he's like trying to praise Wilder, and Wilder's great, and this, that, and whatever.
and then tear him
But
down.
eventually, it leads into Tyson Fury's the best.
Oh, he's the best. Not.
And it's just like, I mean, I was fine with that. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but I have a problem when people accuse me of saying things I didn't fucking say, or when you backtrack and backpedal on previous statements. Just admit that you fucked up,
and then try to move the goalposts to try to back away from a previous argument.
Right? It's like I don't think I've ever heard that before. I've heard some crazy shit by Fury fans before, but I don't think I've ever heard that he deserves to own all the belts. That's a new one. That's a new one. And then he's like, "Oh, he didn't get beat," so I'm like, "No, Coke beat him. That's who beat him." And when you're the champion of the world, when you're the heavyweight champion of the world, you got to conduct yourself a certain way. And you sure as hell don't balloon up to 400 pounds sniffing Coke. That's not the way you conduct, and you deserve to have your title stripped.
I mean, leading up to Klitschko, he's never beat any legit certified, so he pretty much avoided all the smoke and went the easiest route possible.
I'm glad I get. Well, I shouldn't say I'm glad because that'll be a lie. But I am entertained at the idea that Tyson Fury, let's call it what it is. I mean, it's like the great white hope of the heavyweight division. Am I wrong to say that?
No.
Because that's what it seems like to me.
Also,
right? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to add in a little fact. If Tyson Fury didn't cheat against Klitschko, and let's just say he had all three belts at the time, Deontay Wilder and Fury could have fought back in 2015, for Undisputed. So, at that time frame, I'm pretty sure Tyson Fury at that version versus Wilder would have lost, hands down. So that's why Tyson Fury pretty much screwed his whole life up. And then after the first fight with Wilder, Deontay Wilder didn't even need to fight him. He just did it just to prove his, warrior mentality, to show to the world that, I'm not afraid of anybody. And he showed to Tyson Fury that he has way more heart and way more determination than Tyson Fury has ever done in his whole entire career.
Let me highlight this, and that's all that needs to be said. They made a statue of Fury standing over Wilder after the second fight.
Yep.
Do I have to say anything else?
And also on top of that, if Oscar Valdez's statue got made immediately after he beat Conceição, what does that tell you about the rest of the other fights that will happen in the future? This is all political racism. This is not doing any fair justice, for the sport of boxing. If you care
and let me say this too. If anybody's out there wondering, well, no, man, that doesn't have anything to do with racism or great white hope. That's just simply they're proud of their fighter. Well, why didn't they make a statue of him, with his hands up after he beat Klitschko?
Right.
Well, how about this? What if somebody made a statue of Wilder standing over Fury after he knocked him down in the first fight or the third fight?
They'll call it absolutely racist.
Would we have the same reception? What would people say to that? I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, it's just a question. Oh, God damn it, Divine, you're race baiting again.
It's not race baiting.
I'm simply asking the question. I mean, they made a statue of him, and Fury, I'm not even up here getting angry about it. I'm just saying it is what it is. Wilder knocked down Fury too. I've actually seen T-shirts of Wilder after he knocked down Fury.
That's awesome.
But I haven't seen any statues. Maybe, I don't know. Obviously, he lost the fight, so people didn't feel like they needed to. But let's say he actually did knock him out, and the fight was over, and they built a big statue of him standing over Fury in Alabama. Would it get the same reception? It's just a question. Anyway, I'll probably be accused on social media in T-minus 15 minutes of race baiting again. Even though I always am the person advocating to stop with the racism. Oh, but Divine, you're feeding into it. Well, excuse me. I wasn't the one running around all these channels throwing racial slurs at people leading up to the fight, or any other fight for that matter, when even on my own channel, I was racially attacked, saying that I'm ashamed of, being white. I should go be the caretaker of black people. I belong in the zoo. All kinds of crazy shit.
What the fuck?
All kinds of crazy shit. And I have it all screenshotted, too. You're a disgrace to the white man. You're a disgrace to your own race. You should be ashamed of yourself. How dare you support a black man? Right? So it's not me. Like, you want to talk about race baiting and talk about, I'm putting more fuel into the fire. No, I'm not. I'm telling you what happened. I'm telling you what was said. I'm telling you what it is. It's not my fault you're blind to it. You don't see it, or you don't want to accept it. And people say, oh, well, Divine, there's a lot of people like that, unfortunately. Oh, so I just got to be okay with it? That's why nothing changes, right? Nothing ever changes in society. Because we're just like, oh, I can't do anything about it, so I'll just, be nice. This is like a whole nother bag of potatoes here that I can unwrap and unveil. But the thing is this, right? Is like, for the better part of 15 years or so, and I've been talking about boxing. I tell Drew Titan this all the time because he speaks about this in some other channels. Some things never change and probably never will change. I see minuscule changes. I see slightly, and I emphasize that word, slightly, a change where you see a little bit more of a collaboration between people here on YouTube. But like I said, it's minuscule. But I find it funny that the people that cry racism are the ones who are actually racist. I find that hilarious. Oh, those channels over there, the LGBTC, they're so racist. 15 minutes later. Man, fuck the LGBTC. Fuck those black people over there. Fuck those Mexican people over there. Fuck those white people over there. Literally. Literally. But this is why nothing changes in society, because we all became too complacent. And another thing is, I say this all the time. This is another point to it, and this is more for our own communities here, trying to stand together and unify, right? When we stand for something and we speak up against something, it is important to stand up and unify on all levels. Do not criticize somebody in your family or in your circle or in your community for not standing up when you put on your suit and tie and go to work and smile at the man. And give reverence to the man and pay homage to the man, smiling. Yeah, I got to do it. I hate it, but I got to do it. You don't got to do shit besides live and die. And yes, I didn't include paying taxes because you don't got to do that either if you didn't want to. And I want to put that out there too because I'm getting sick and tired of seeing that shit too. And that's exactly why, as I said, nothing changes. It's like taking a step forward and 2 steps back. Case in point, people accuse me of trying to protect Deontay Wilder, protect the black man. Oh, I got to protect. I'm a social justice warrior or whatever the fuck that people are saying. All because I made a film study. That's it. I didn't make videos attacking Tyson Fury. I didn't make videos saying that Deontay's the best thing since sliced bread, God Almighty, the next thing since God. I made a film study. I pointed out what I saw. I told people to open their eyes. I told people to open their ears. I told people this is how you got to be objective in life when you look at everything that you come into contact with. Do I take the vaccine? Do I not take the vaccine? Do I wear a mask? Do I not wear a mask? Do I pay taxes? Do I not pay taxes? Do I, whatever it may be, you got to be objective on how you look at things because your life is at stake. Your family's lives are at stake. Your friends' lives are at stake. And when people are racist and got hatred towards you, it's the same thing, right? Your life's at risk. Hatred is a very powerful thing. More times than not, when there's enough hatred spilling over, people get hurt. And that's why you got to keep your head on a swivel. Those who prove loyalty, those who prove to be trustworthy, are the ones that you accept in your life. No exceptions. I don't care if they're nice. Seems like a nice guy. Has he proved anything to you? Or she? And I tell that to men all the time when it comes to women. Oh, man, she's so nice, though. Has she proved anything to you? Has she actually proven that she likes you, that she wants you, that she respects you? What has she done for you lately? Shit, man, not really. Like, we text and, like, we hang out. That's it. And you're ready to sell the car, sell the house, get a bank loan for her, cash loan, co-sign shit. Y'all better wake up. Women have been doing this for centuries. It's nothing new. No disrespect to the women out there. I love you. But men got to be smarter. What have they done for you lately? What have they done to prove your loyalty? And the same thing goes for women when it comes to men. It's no different. I got women coming to me all the time. Hey, Divine, hey, I like this guy. I think he likes me. You know what I mean? Like, he took me out for dinner. He's trying to hit it, but, like, I don't know. Like, it's simple. First off, what are you looking for? You looking something long-term, short-term, fun, whatever? You got to know what you want. Oh, I'm looking for something long-term. I want something serious. Are you honest with yourself or are you lying to yourself? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Oh, no, I'm serious. Like, I'm ready to settle down. Cool. Then he's got to prove to you that he's on the same page as you. And buying you a nice little thing and trying to hit it ain't proving shit. And if he does hit it and then leaves your ass in the dust, don't cry about it. Grown-ass woman. Sick of that shit. He a liar, man. He a playboy. Like, I trusted him. What did he do for you to trust him? What did he do? Say sweet nothings in your ear? Buy you some flowers? He trying to tap that. Shit. Out here, 35 years old, grown-ass woman. He still haven't figured it out. And for all you men out there crying about these women, same goes to you. Man, I really liked her, man. Shit, man, I really liked her, man. I took her out. I bought her this shit, man. I was willing to like co-sign my name on a car for her. Man, she told me she loved me and shit. And she go out there and she's like, suck my best boy, my homie, man. He sucked his dick. She sucked his dick, man. Shit. And then they try to go and take him back. She sucked your homie's dick, and then you try to take him back. You try to take him back. Or her back. This shit never... Hey, I'm sorry I came on a tangent, man. I'm sorry I put this shit left field. But, for real though, man. And you know what it is? Like, if I have a 22-year-old dude that come to me and have some girl problems, I can somewhat understand that. Because when I was 22, I was an idiot. Right? Like, I go out, the girl, I hit it a couple times. I'm out there falling in love and shit. 22. For sure. Girls breaking my heart. Right? I don't have a problem giving advice to the young bloods out there, men or women. Because they got to live and learn. But y'all make me disappointed out here. Grown-ass men and women, 35 and up, acting like kids, like you don't know shit. Like, how many people have you dated in your life when you out here 35, 40 years old? Like, seriously. You haven't learned by now? The last thing that I'm doing at my age is taking any money out of my pocket. And my girl right now, we've been together for almost 4 years. Still to this day. Like, damn, like, you going to pay for dinner? Shit. I'm like, Call it what you want to call it. But the more you put into something, you got to know for sure that you're going to get that back. And I tell her all the time, the fact that I'm still with you and loyal to you is a victory. Be happy with that. And she out there bouncing her head around. Oh, my God, I can't believe you said that to me. Did I lie? I'm with you, right? I'm here, right? I'm loyal to you, right? I'm honest with you, right? I take care of you. You know, like, if you get sick, you know I'm there for you, right? If you need help, I'm there for you, right? So what are you worried about? See, that's the thing. They want to take that little, they want a little bit more. And they want to take a little, you know, you give them an inch, they take a mile. Fellas, please, be smart out here in these streets. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret, man. The more mysterious that you are, the more unpredictable that you are, the more that you keep yourself secure, the more defensive that you are, the more established you are, the more a woman wants you. I'm telling you. Stop sending these damn pictures to these chicks. Stop sending these damn half naked ass pics and shit, all the things you guys do out here, and doing all this above and beyond things just to get some chick. Because if you got to go through all that, it ain't worth it. It's not worth it. I'm telling you. So all you got to do is just say, this is me. This is my domain, my kingdom, my throne. This is how I operate. I'm going to let you know on the first date exactly who I am, what I expect. You down or you not down? And if she says, oh, I'm down, we'll see. And women, they go crazy over that shit. When they can't figure you out, they go crazy. Because if they're attracted to you, physically and through your personality, You got them where you want them. But they're always going to try to get the upper hand, right? They're always going to try to maneuver to make sure that they got the upper hand. So, you know what I'm saying? It's always a chess match. So if I know a chick is attracted to me and I know she enjoys being around me and enjoys my personality, that's where it ends right there. Everything else, she's going to have to learn through being around me and prove her loyalty and her trust in order to get close to me. Yeah, Picasso, you guess you can call it the long game. But that's if, like, you know, I'm willing to settle down with someone. Otherwise, I had an OG tell me way back when I was in my early 20s. I went to a bar. This dude was like in his 40s, right? And he was like, give me all this life advice. I'll never forget it. At the time, I didn't really understand, but now I do. And he's like, give me all this life advice. I was in Tokyo, but this guy was like a retired military dude. And I had a chick with me. I had a Japanese chick with me. And so she went off to the bathroom and he tapped me on the shoulder. And he's like, is that your girl? And at first I thought, you know, sometimes when you're younger, you get intimidated by the older dudes, right? The old heads. So I thought he's going to like start some shit. So I was like, yeah, why? And he's like, calm down. He's like, I'm just curious. Do you love her? I was like, what? He's like, do you love her? I was like, yeah, I love her. He's like, no, you don't. I said, what? He said, no, you don't. I see it in your eyes. You don't love her. You're just like tapping that ass, don't you? But I know you want to get a lot of different ass out here. And I didn't know what to say because he was right. Then he said to me, the best thing that you can do is tell a girl straight up what you want. Don't sugarcoat shit. I'm like, well, shit, man, if I do that, then she won't want me. And he said, then she ain't worth your time. Because it's not worth it in the long run. You string a woman along, bullshitting around, dating other women on the side, but this girl thinks that she's exclusive to you. She's the only one. And you doing all this other shit in the background. The truth will reveal itself eventually. It always does. It's inevitable. I don't care how slick you think you may be. Eventually what will happen. And then what will happen is, boom, she finds out drama. She going through your Facebook. She throwing through your IG. She demanding to look at your phone. She's hitting up all those chicks that she thinks you fucking or whatever the case is. And it's like a domino effect. So case in point, it's not worth it. If she ain't down with what you're trying to do, then it ain't worth it. And that's why this OG told me, just tell him. I said, so what do I say? He said, you trying to fuck, you tell him. I said, but how do you just tell a chick that you just want to fuck? Like, ain't no chick trying to be down with that. He said it's simple. He said, you say to a chick, I'm attracted to you. I think you're attracted to me. We getting along, having a great time. Let's enjoy ourselves for what it is. Let's enjoy the moment. You ain't down with that? That's cool. I'm going to step over here because I ain't trying to get nothing complicated. The ball's in her court. And if she says, oh, no, I ain't about that life. Okay. Next. You ain't losing anyways. You're never losing. And never devalue yourself. And that goes for the ladies out there too. You don't got to be lying out here. You don't got to lie to these men out here. You don't got to lie to them. Tell them. They're going to be a big boy or not. Are they going to take it or they can't take it? But some of you people, men and women, you are driving me crazy. Seriously driving me crazy. Hitting me up all the time, you know, because I've been living abroad for 15, 16 years. I got a lot of life experience. I know a lot of people. People reach out to me like an older brother, a lot, especially younger. But even dudes older than me still hit me up. I'm like, bro, you're 45. Like, what? Why are you having these issues? I met this chick. Like, we kicked it off. We had all this chemistry. I let her move into my house. You know, she moving all of her shit in. Then I come home and she's banging this other dude in the bathroom. I'm like, what? And like, I want her to leave, but I still love her. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm 45. Like, you know, I thought we had something. I'm willing to forgive her for this. And I'm just like, the problem is not the predicament that you're in. The problem is that you getting involved in this to begin with. But anyway, a little bit of a storytelling time here at the end of the live stream and some life advice. Take it as you will or take it as you wish. Those who listen will absorb. Those who don't it will ricochet, and they'll continue to do the same shit they've been doing. The most powerful weapon in the world is a woman and her words. Men, we have brawn, right? A lot of us are not very elegant when we speak. We don't have very good listening skills. We don't pay attention. We hear what we want to hear. We're not good at expressing our thoughts. Not all of us, but many of us. Women have been taking advantage of those flaws for centuries because women are the opposite. They know how to speak. They think before they speak. They are calculated. They know how to operate. When shit hits the fan, that's what they use to manipulate and maneuver. Men, shit hits the fan, we don't know what to do. We overreact. We try to punch things and break things and fight people. So just keep that into your, and always, I always have that in the back of the mind. No matter how many women I date and how much experience I have, I always have that in the back of my mind. Everything a woman says, I want to say I take it with a grain of salt, but I definitely am a little bit cautious. And the most important thing is when I say, "Oh, you single?" How they answer that and how precisely they answer that is key. Because women be up here lying all the time when they say they're single. I'm telling you that right now. Y'all ain't got me fooled. Talking about, oh, man, men always cheat. Men got other chicks. Man, don't get me started. Don't get me started, especially in this day and age. All these damn dating apps and shit. Y'all got backups that go all the way to, like, the home run wall and all the way back to home plate. Don't miss me with that bullshit. I've been single for 5 years, no man for 5 years. I've been loving life. Like, I'm independent. I take care of myself, da-da-da-da-da-da. Then we start dating, and I find out you got like 6 dudes on the side. Oh, shit, where did they come from? Oh, they in and out of my life, Exactly. Exactly. Liar. But women, women don't lie. Right? Women don't lie. They are justified in every time they lie, though. As men, we don't have any justification. We just lie because we don't know what else to do. Why'd you cheat on me? I don't know. Shit, man. She looking good, so I hit it. Like, sorry. Damn. Fuck. Women, though. Why'd you cheat on me? Well, it's like this, okay? I told you got to call me more. I told you should text me more. I told you to pay attention to me, and you don't. So, yes, I cheated on you, but I still love you. I don't love him, okay? What? And what do men say? Okay, baby. All right. You still love me, right? Yes, I still love you. I just fucked him, okay? Because you upset me. But I still love you. Oh, okay, baby. Yeah, let's be together then. And sucker! You a sucker! Don't come crying to me later when she takes all your shit. Sorry, I think I had some like pent up aggression over a long period of time that I haven't released in a while. There's some women out here pissing me off lately. So I'm sure I've been having you guys rolling. But this is why I have to get this other channel rolling, man. To talk about these type of topics. As a matter of fact, before I get up out of here, let me drop the link here in the chat so you guys can subscribe to it. Because I try not to, man, but sometimes I can't help myself. It's pent up aggression. And boxing sometimes, I don't know, it always finds a way to segue into life topics. You know what I mean? Like, how these boxers operate, these promoters, these managers, the boxing fans, how they operate in life is how they operate within their relationships with the opposite sex or some sex, if that's your preference. But that's how we operate out here. It's the same. That's why he always segues into it. You got anything on that, K-Rod? I'm sorry you had to sit through that, bro.
For what topic?
For anything that I just said. I mean, I'm sorry. I know you're just sitting there having to go through that.
Yeah, like I don't have a comment on that. I usually keep that to myself.
Hey, I respect that. And I used to be like that for years. And I still do. But I think as I continue to get older and date, I don't know how old you are, K-Rod, but like the more experience I get, the more stupid shit that I see. Like I didn't see it that much when I was younger because I was doing dumb shit too. I thought it was normal. But as I got older and I started seeing stuff and I'm like, what? There's always like a victim role or some type, like everyone's trying to be a victim nowadays. How about try to be the victor, not the victim? How about that? How do you win? You want to get married? You want to settle down? You want to have a down ass chick? Then find one and win. Be a winner. Find a chick that helps you win in life, not hold you back. But there is the link to the other channel that I seriously need to get going. It'll be a channel dedicated to real life shit that I'm talking about right now, and also some current events, things that I haven't really talked about in much detail that I planned to but never did, like the Ahmaud Arbery case and some other cases that we've seen lately over the past year or so. So things like that I may unpack and revisit, but more so focus on real life stuff and just helping people stay motivated, be positive, and become victorious in life rather than feeling like you can never succeed and always find like you're in a trap. So there's a link. Click that link. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to launch it soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. K-Rod, look, I want to get you and a few other guys on here and get a panel going and probably talk about one of your favorite topics. And that is Canelo and his next move.
Oh,
what he should do, what he shouldn't do, how you see it happening, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm pretty sure that I can get enough people on here to be willing to discuss that because it's always a hot button topic. Now, I may decide to get it a little bit spicy and bring in one or two Canelo fans just to make it interesting.
Nah.
I might have to.
Yeah, that's gonna.
I don't want to make it too much of an echo chamber. And you know, for me, I'm always kind of like down the middle, kind of, and then I normally agree with most things that people say negatively about Canelo, but I feel like we need somebody in there that tries to state a case for Canelo, and just have a debate to make it entertaining. So
yeah, I would say maybe. I would say maybe like a guy like G-Funk, like, you know, he's decent. But
I was thinking G-Funk or Arturo, who's been on here before, who's a Canelo fan, who's pretty level-headed.
Arturo, like, I don't mind him. Like, you know, he's mad chill, but
yeah. Oh, but I'm definitely going to be careful on who I select. I'm not going to like pick some like Canelo fanboy that's going to speak nonsense.
Yeah, that's just going to get into like a shopping match with you.
I want to get somebody that is objective and that's not going to take things personal. like today, I felt like that Kangaroo Jack was trying to make it personal about Fury, and it's like, dude, it's not going to work. It's not. I don't have any personal effects towards Fury. Like, if he stays in boxing or leaves boxing, it doesn't mean shit to me. And you're making me feel confused, and you're making yourself look suspect because you're so worried that he actually might get knocked out. That's not my problem because I don't care.
Yeah.
But, it's no different than anybody coming here and trying to ridicule Wilder. Okay, why do you not like him? And unfortunately, most people that say that is because, well, I just didn't appreciate all those allegations. That's it. As a fighter, why don't you like him? As a boxer. Well, he punches kind of hard. Like, yeah, he's a good puncher and stuff, but, I just don't like him. Man, get the fuck off my channel. That's why we can never have debates on here.
It definitely shows their true colors when they don't want to be honest about the question, and then they have to move to the goalposts and then try to, make it, like a harder, discussion for no reason. It's pretty much like trying to, ask a child, did he steal that apple, on your desk? And then he tries to jump around it knowing that he did steal it.
And by the way, I find it kind of ironic and a little bit comical when people from Australia say that UK fighters are the best, but then they'll say, "Oh, I'm not from the UK." Like, they want to make that point clear, but yet you don't ever want to support American fighters. You want to go for the UK fighters, but I'm not from the UK though, so I'm unbiased. Well, I'm sorry, you guys don't have very many good fighters in Australia. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask him if he supports Kambosos. I didn't ask him because he said he only watched the heavyweights. And I find it funny when people come in here to talk about boxing, but they only watch heavyweights.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. Like, okay, you're not from the UK, so do you support Kambosos? Do you support a few other of these Australian fighters out here? I doubt it. So that does prove that you are biased.
Yeah. Because you're not going to respect American, heavyweight fighters. They're the ones doing all the heavy lifting. All the UK fighters, they're doing all the, easy route lifting. So, they don't have to pull more weight at the end of the day.
Facts. And, the UK fighters are so busy fighting each other in the UK. Very rarely do you see them come across the pond and be willing to fight.
You got fucking
when American fighters
gonna fight, like, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say American fighters more or less are always like anytime, anywhere. Like, go to UK, fight in America, whatever.
Also,
Deontay Wilder would have fought Joshua in the UK.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder was trying to fight him in the UK.
Yeah. Thomas, what's good, bro? Little bit late, but better late than never, man. We're about to get up out of here, going 3 hours strong. Been some ranting, been some good boxing talk, been some debates, been some good discussions, and also a little bit of life talk. We've done a little bit of everything under the sun today on Divine Sense Boxing. It's been a while since I've been live, so maybe I had to try and kill several birds with one stone. But it's good to be back, and I appreciate everybody who dropped in tonight. Make sure that you've already smashed that like button if you haven't. And for those curious of like, yo, Divine, I never get you the notifications anytime you go live. Well, hitting the like button helps, right? So the first people that do get the notifications, like my man Omega Red, who's been in here for 3 hours. Salute to Omega Red. He's one of the first ones that came in. What does he do? He hits that like button right away. And that's what you do to get the likes up. So when people don't get notified, the likes go up, and then it moves up the algorithm, right? And it moves up in your list of subscriptions. So that's why it's important to jab that like button. So all those who did, I appreciate you. For those who came by for the first time and subscribed, I appreciate you as well. And yeah, we're going to try to put a panel with my man K-Rod together. I also need to drop a prediction video of Thurman and Barrios. I've been trying to tell myself I need to do it. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow morning because time is running short. And yes, I will be live for the fight, giving live commentary. It seems like people really enjoy my live commentating, and I appreciate that a lot. So I'm going to try to keep that consistent. If there's anything I can do on here, is at least commentate live on fights because people really do tune in. Rod Dot, a Prophet Man, I appreciate you, bro. You've been in here for several hours as well. Much love and respect, and for every single one of you who sent your condolences to me about my dad passing last week, it means a lot. It helped through my recovery. And it's good to be back on the mic and doing what I love and entertain you guys and continue to promote the sport of boxing as positively as we possibly can. Omega Rudd, man, that's what I try to do, speak that truth, and also try to get some laughs out of people. Sometimes people take life too seriously, man. We got to laugh sometimes. So that's what I try to do. K-Rod, any final words before we get up out of here?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for bringing me on. That was a kind of weird argument, having that weird banter with that weird ass, British teeth fan. But yeah, other than that, I had a good, discussion with you. Can't wait to do it again. And to all you Canelo fans, you better keep that same energy. If Canelo and Charlo are going to get it going on May 7th, if that's going to be the word of the mouth to be made next. But if not, don't be telling me that Canelo Alvarez is going to be fighting Charlo anytime soon, because it seems like Canelo Alvarez is trying to play mind games at this point. But other than that, I can't wait for what's coming next, for the next, coming months. Very good fights. And I'm excited. 2022 is going to be very, very interesting.
I hope it's a good year, man. I really, 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 really do. We are owed as boxing fans a good year of boxing. So I hope to be a part of that with you guys. You guys stay strong. I know it's getting late out there in the States, and if you need to get some sleep, man. Rest up, rejuvenate. Tomorrow is a new day. All right, guys, stay safe, stay positive, stay strong out there. It's your boy Divine. K-Rod, thanks for coming on. I'm out.
Thank you.